Hello students, am I audible? Can someone confirm in the comment box? Take it. Perfect. So first and foremost, the task which we have taken for ourselves today is that we are going to create a roadmap, a solid roadmap for the upcoming Prelims 2026 examination. Take it. So before we begin, one important disclaimer, one question I have for all of you. What is that one classical quality which we actually associate with the India's bureaucracy? Anyone? The classical quality which we actually associate with India's bureaucracy. Some of the people are writing corruption. We will not take that seriously. We will not take that allegation. One classical quality which we actually kind of associate with India's bureaucracy since the time of its inception is actually the lack of punctuality, right? The lack of delays, the kind of the bureaucratic hurdles which takes place in the kind of the implementation of the policies at the grassroots level. So for example, we have such an important session today, and yet there are so many of the people who have not yet joined, so many of the people who had actually registered, correct? So you don't have to look that far, right? You can actually look into the mirror as well, the future bureaucrats of India who are going to be the responsible to create the Viksit Bharat of 2047. The idea is that we have a little bit of time at our disposal. We'll allow some time for the other people to join as well. Take it. The idea is keep pen and paper in your hand, right? Whatever we are going to discuss today, try to take out the important crux of that, right? And note it down. So remember that we're also going to solve a lot of important questions today, right? We'll try to devise certain techniques as well. So keep a pen and paper in your hand. Being the kind and generous person which I am, I will allow some time for the other people to settle down, take out the pen and paper. Till then, I have a small story to share with all of you. The story is of a small girl who was actually inspired by her father to become a civil servant, where she wanted to serve the nation and do something meaningful for the rest of the society. For which purpose, very early in her career, she actually decided that she is going to pursue the civil services. For which purpose? She started her preparation back in the year 2019. And by the year of 2022, she had already given 3 attempts. So, 3 years of relentless efforts, sleepless nights, and magnanimous sacrifices. Yet, after that, she was unable to clear the first stage of the examination itself, and that is prelims. Imagine the ordeal. Imagine the sinking feeling of not being able to clear the first stage of the examination for which you have sacrificed years of your life. After 4 years, did she had a certificate of hard work to actually show to the society? The answer is no. Imagine the level of demotivation or self-doubt she might be facing in the year of 2022 after her 3 failed attempts. That is the lesson which you shall keep in your mind. That falling in life is indeed part and parcel of it. We all face it. It is experienced by many. However, to actually get up against all the odds is what defines the victor, a quality of few. There are actually very few people who get up and fight back. She was one of them. She refused to give up on her dreams for one more time. She decided to knock the door of destiny for one more day. She decided to attempt one more test, to revise one more chapter, to finish one more task, to actually solve the test and work upon her weak areas, on her strategy. While she was working in all of this silence, the whole world kept on moving with a rapid pace, unless and until one day, because of her hard work, the world had to stop and take the notice of her. The date was 24th of April, 2025, the date on which this year's result was announced. And that person, that little girl with dreams in her eyes, found her name in the holy PDF, right? Written as none other than our very own, this year's All India Rank 1, Miss Shakti Dubey. What is the lesson which we can actually derive from her story, from the efforts which she put in? And that is that if we are actually pursuing our dreams and goals with relentless effort, With very little courage and faith in our own capabilities, then we can actually make the impossible dream possible. One very important question which you all should be asking yourself right now is, what actually helped this year's All India Rank 1 to break the prelims barrier? To decode that, we are going to discuss on 6 important fundamentals today. First and foremost is this whole noise which you might be kind of listening around you, that is that UPSC examination, the prelims is very unpredictable. We'll try to establish today that how that is not the truth. You can actually predict the UPSC's prelims paper by focusing upon the basic sources which you have at your disposal, at the same time by integrating them with the current affair. The third is that, let's say for example, if I do not possess that much of a knowledge, if I'm starting in the month of September 2026, yet with the development of little bit of common sense and present sense of mind, are there certain good amount of section of UPSC prelims which we can actually end up solving? The fourth is the evergreen debate. What is the whole market telling you right now? To obviously focus solely and completely on your mains examination, mains preparation till the month of December. There is a deadline which has been set for you, correct? So basically, till today, you guys are basically sleeping on your prelims examination, which is going to take place in the month of May. So when I'm suggesting you today that instead of just completely overlooking it, we shall start having a parallel look on our prelims preparation today. We will also try to discuss about the evergreen debate, that is prelims versus mains. Ultimately, if I'm suggesting you that, kind of breaking the trend which establishes in the market, can we form an ideal revision schedule? The schedule will be created not only for those people who have already given multiple number of attempts, but also for the beginners as well. And ultimately, we will talk about how to remain accountable in this journey. Take. The point is, how many of you have already attempted the prelims paper? The people who have prior experience of it? Actually, make sure कि वो जो comment section है ना भैया वो पूरा दिखे, सिर्फ एक person का नहीं, आपको click नहीं पढ़ना पड़े. It shall come like in a line wise. ठीक है, so there are certain people who have already attempted the prelims examination. We have certain veterans with us today as well. If there are certain people who might be attempting their first attempt in the prelims examination. The idea is that the veterans can actually share their experiences with the beginners, that there is one common experience which we all have when we actually go to attempt the prelims paper, and that is the element of surprise, the shock factor, right? Because whatever you have studied and in the way in which you have studied, when you actually attempt the paper, you realize that the examiner has not created the paper in that particular way. So there still exists a kind of an element of surprise which kind of creates a shock factor in the minds of students. This is where we'll also try to draw from the learnings of this year's All India Rank 1, how she basically handled this element of surprise. By doing what? By doing multiple revisions, focusing on low-hanging fruits. What are these low-hanging fruits? We'll try to decipher that as well. Third, to actually practice active recalling, ultimately, how to identify your weak areas by the use of tests, and ultimately the practice of multiple tests. Take. The point is to actually devise that, right? To kind of curb down the element of surprise, we need to understand one thing, that when UPSC is asking you such obscure question, some very factual question, some very out of the box question, right? Even sometimes the paper actually will end up mocking you. For example, the question will begin from the phrase, as repeatedly and frequently seen in the news. The irony is that you are actually seeing that particular topic for the first time in your life in the paper itself. You are like, I have read so much of current affairs, so many magazines. Where was this particular topic till today? So when that paper is mocking you, the idea is actually that UPSC is testing the skills which are required to become a future bureaucrat. To understand this, let's try to take a one particular day example in the life of a bureaucrat. Okay? Let's imagine you have a secretary, you reach to the office at 10 o'clock, and the secretary tells you that, sir, we have a meeting with the leaders of 2 different religious communities who want to take out a religious procession at the same time in the same locality. Now your job is what? To actually ensure an ideal route, making ensure that there does not take place any kind of public disorder. While you are making that decision, do you have to be very well aware about the two important fundamental rights? Can anybody tell me what are those fundamental rights? Anyone? Two important fundamental rights. The fundamental rights which are available to the people of these communities. Absolutely correct, Aman. I'm glad you are part of the session, a very sincere student. Article 19, freedom of movement, and yes, absolutely correct, Vishal, as well. Article 25, the freedom to practice and profess their religion. Right? You are basically using your knowledge, but at the same time, you get a call from the Minister of Health Affairs that, you know what, I'm coming in your district to take a review of the Ayushman Bharat mission. And for that purpose, you should kind of be ready with a report. You are just dealing with that, and you actually get a notification from the National Disaster Management Authority. Being the district magistrate of a coastal district in the state of Odisha, there is an impending cyclone which is taking place. And thus, you are required to rehabilitate the people who are living in the coastal areas or fishermen. Fourth, at the same time, might be in the evening, you get to know about the rehabilitation of the tribal people, this year's mains favorite topic. GS1 paper, GS2 paper, ethics paper, every paper they ask about this issue of the tribal people. So you need to recall all the rights which are actually available for the tribal people in our country, right? Can anybody comment that? Forest Rights Act 2006, right? PESA 1996, Land Rehabilitation Act 2013. Ultimately, at the same point of time, you might be dealing with your personal and financial issues. Some people are amazed. How can a bureaucrat face a financial issue, sir? I cannot understand. That is the whole reason I am joining this service, right? I'm talking about an honest bureaucrat in this particular instance. The idea is that when you are handling with all of this in one day's time, there are some simple questions I have for you. Do you guys are required to handle the pressure situation in the future? The answer is yes. For that purpose, do you guys have a requirement to make rational decision making in a constraint of time? Is that correct? At the same point of time, do you guys have a requirement to use your knowledge and experience? And that is exactly what UPSC tests when UPSC creates a prelims question. The prelims paper, the UPSC is not testing only your knowledge. For that, you have mains examination as well. They are checking your temperament. Are you capable enough to become a bureaucrat of the future by showcasing these qualities? Rational decision making, fast-paced decision making. Let's try to assess that. You guys have 30 seconds of time. Read this particular question and try to comment your answers. 30 seconds of time, guys. A question on your left to all the people. Try to solve this and comment down. To all the people, Neha, Nandini, Shubham, Komal, Srishti. Aryan has said C. Priyanka has gone with C as well. Manvi, Aditya, Maitri has gone with A. Okay. Okay. Majority of the people has actually selected C. Now let's try to decipher this question a little bit. Okay. If you guys have a timer in your watch or clock, you guys can actually start them. Every question which we'll discuss, we'll try to solve this within the span of a time of 1 minute. Okay. Point is this very factual question in the nature, right? Very factual. Either you know or you don't know. The elimination techniques which you guys are actually being sold in the market, that does not work here. The second point is you have a time constraint. So see the way the examiner actually kind of tries to confuse you, and all of you actually fell into the trap. When the examiner is creating this question, he knows you have to recall all the information about the different types of climate which you have studied about in the span of a minute. What he does, gives the equatorial climate right at the top. The first two qualities, annual and daily range of temperature is low. Second, precipitation occurs throughout the year, is very much suitable to the equatorial climate as well. At the same point of time, the precipitation range which has been given, it also might hint you to select humid subtropical climate, which was selected by most of the people. Now, if only you could have created the mirror image of what you have learned. Imagine a simple NCERT which you have revised multiple number of times. Now, look towards your right. Marine West Coast climate. You want to see the laziness of the UPSC examiner? Look at the highlighted point. 15 to 20 degrees Celsius in winter. The annual and daily range of temperature are small. First statement. Second statement, precipitation occurs throughout the year. Third statement, precipitation varies between 50 to 250 centimeter. Copied this particular paragraph, pasted it here, divided it into 3 points, and that is exactly your answer, the marine west coast climate. Created from where? Your class 11th, Geography NCERT, page number 94. Such a direct question. Correct? Now, again, we have another question. So you guys might be thinking that, ठीक है, 2024 में आ गया, 2025 में नहीं आया होगा. Try to solve this question now. 30 seconds you guys have. At least this time I'm expecting some people to, show that they have read NCERTs thoroughly and they are able to solve this. Anyone? Ipshita, Srishti, Vishal, anyone? Manu Singh is saying A, Aryan is saying A as well. Take it. See, now look at this particular question. This year, Prelims 2025. Is this question difficult in the nature at a superficial level? The answer is absolutely yes. Why? Because it seems like that this kind of a particular question where they are asking about isotherms. Isotherms is basically a kind of an imaginary line which basically connects all the places which has a similar kind of temperature. Okay? The point is, the question seems to be in the demand of high level of conceptual clarity about the concept of isotherms. Seems to be created from a very complex book as well. Third is that does elimination exercise works here? The answer is no. Now look at this simple diagram which has been given in your NCERT, page number 72, the very same book which we were discussing earlier. This is what? The distribution of surface air temperature in the month of January. Simple. Now look at the isotherms on the landmass in the month of January. Is it towards equator? The answer is yes. Why? Because the sun has moved towards Tropic of Capricorn, right? So obviously these areas which are actually closer to the equator will have the higher temperature. Absolutely correct, Maitri, right? Now when it comes to the ocean, look here, the Atlantic Ocean. You can see how the isotherms are actually bending towards the poleward. The reason for that is the presence of hot ocean currents here, right? Anyone? Which are the hot currents, ocean currents which we find here in the region of Atlantic Ocean? I hope I am talking to the UPSC aspirant. I have not joined some other link or something. Gulf Stream as well as the North Atlantic drift. Absolutely correct to all the people. Correct. That's why the isotherm is moving towards poleward. Now read at this question. Just if someone would have dwelled 1 or 2 minutes to understand this graph which has been given in your class 11th NCERT, and this is your difficult questions of UPSC prelims examination. Some of you might be thinking, okay, we might have got lucky in the geography. An economics question. The most basic question you will get and can solve on the conceptual clarity. Again, the timer is of 30 seconds. This time I'm hoping someone to give the correct answer. The clock starts now. Khushi is saying D. Okay. Anyone else? Manu as well. Shipra as well. I am having tears of happiness, guys. Some people has finally answered from the NCERT of class 11th and 12th after being graduates. Take. Most of the people got it correct. Take it. The point is, when we look at such kind of a question, remember, this is an out-of-the-box question of Prelims 2025. The reason for that is, this question is numerical in the nature. That too, asked where? In the GS paper, not in the CSAT paper. The second is, it do require the conceptual clarity, and if someone is kind of confused between the very basic concepts, what is fiscal deficit, what is revenue deficit, what is primary deficit, If someone has not mastered these basic concepts given in your class 12th NCERT, then that person will actually find deficit of time in solving this deficit-based question. Clear? However, your NCERT class 12 macroeconomics, simple formulas given. What is fiscal deficit? That is the government's total borrowing. What is the government's borrowing here, guys? 10,000 crore. Second statement is correct. What is revenue deficit? Expenditure minus receipt. We minus it, 20,000 crore. What is primary deficit? Anyone? What is primary deficit? The fiscal deficit minus the interest payment. Absolutely correct, Veet and Priyanka. And that's why we minus 10,000, 6,000 from 10,000 crore, we get 4,000 crore. This is the difficult paper of 2025. है ना? Basic NCERT. We have not even moved to any standard book till now. The point is that when we come across certain factual information at this stage, when you guys are preparing, one very important question which shall appear in the student's mind is how to actually identify what is there for prelims and what is there for mains. A very classic question, right? A kind of a doubt everyone has. For that purpose, let's look at this particular paragraph. Okay? Paragraph from your basic NCERT, old NCERT of modern history. Okay? This old NCERT of modern history talks about the second civil disobedience movement, which was started by Gandhi. On which date? 12th of March. Completed on which date? 6th of April. Again, from where? From the Sabarmati Ashram to Dandi. With how many followers? 78 followers. How much distance they walked? 200 miles. Okay, 370 kilometers. What they did? Violation of salt law, and thus they basically broke a law made by the British government at that point of time, and thus they did civil disobedience. After that, Mahatma Gandhi got very emotional and gave an emotional speech where he said, I am out to destroy the system of government now, and thus sedition has become my religion. A factual piece of information. That is the prelims corner. Whenever you guys are reading at a particular page, take it again, one classical mistake which I hear from the students most of the time is, I am reading NCERTs to create foundation. Foundation for which building? Right? I am reading NCERTs to develop understanding. How much more understanding you want? You guys have limited time at your disposal. This is a government examination. NCERT is a book published by the government, where the government is telling you, see, this is our viewpoint for geography, for history, for economics. Where if you want to clear a government examination, the most simple thing which we can actually do is to read the government book, a book published by the government. So when we are reading it and reading a particular page, open two lenses in your mind. What is there for prelims? What is there for mains? For prelims, note down all the factual details which can actually become a statement. For mains purpose, do we have a ready-made introduction here? If a question will be asked on civil disobedience movement, like how they asked about Quit India movement 1 year before. If they ask about it, we have a ready-made introduction here. Second thing, let's say for example, from the mains perspective, what is important, that why this civil disobedience movement is taking place. It is not written here. So you need to create 5 points for the 5 different causes of CDM. When CDM took place, something might have happened across the country. One of them is the Dandi March by Gandhi. We can note it down for the mains purpose or create a map as a value addition. And ultimately, what was the impact of civil disobedience movement? Correct. Santosh Kumar is asking why the Gandhian ideology is an advisory action not involved in our Indian constitution, sir. We are discussing here for prelims. है ना? If we would have been discussing for me, I would have discussed that. Take it. थोड़ा सा focus करते हैं. This lack of focus is also one of the problem in prelims examination. Take it. My point is, can we identify prelims and mains point here? If someone would have read this paragraph and opened these two lenses, now look at this question this year. Very difficult history question. Sedition has become a religion, a famous statement by Gandhi. In which moment? The answer is there. Trust me, there were so many coaching institutions which actually gave a wrong answer for this. What it shows, the coaching institutions are also not reading NCERTs. Take simple idea. NCERTs is being kept on the table by the examiner as I have established by all the questions which we have taken till now. The kind of a question which I have for you is, you guys are graduates preparing for the most difficult exam in the country. Can you guys find yourself unable to master the books which were written for class 11th and 12th student, है ना? So अगर हम इतना basic कर लेते हैं, if we focus on this much of basics, can we solve at least 10 to 15 questions directly in the UPSC examination? The answer is yes. Keep this thought in your mind. The second is about the integration of the current affairs. ठीक है? Because when it comes to the current affair, another myth which is circulated in the market is what? UPSC asks everything under the sun. ठीक है? Simple concept. Why we have taken human geography here? Because this is basically the topic which has been given in your UPSC's main syllabus. In UPSC's main syllabus, can anybody tell me population related issues is part of which GS paper? Again, my eyes have filled with tears. Some people have immediately commented GS1. Okay, I'm feeling so proud of you people right now. Point is, population related issues is part of the mains paper. So we have to read about the issues which surrounds about the, let's say for example, the increase in the population which we are facing right now, the demographic dividend window which we have right now, correct? Similarly, there is also an emerging issue, and that is of the declining total fertility rate. This is basically mentioned in the heading of the newspaper, December 7, 2023. This is your prelims 2024 question 5 months down the line. The article itself explains this is what total fertility rate is. To estimate the average number of children that a woman will bear in her childbearing years between 15 to 49 years. Now look at the statements here. Right? Absolutely correct, Maitri. Our total fertility rate has actually declined. 1.9 it has become. For some states, some Kerala, we still are very close to the replacement rate which we have, 2.1. Okay? Absolutely correct, Aryan, Shipra, Yokeshwar. The D answer. Now it seems very easy. In the examination hall, if you have not read about such basic concepts and news which are featuring, the idea is that you might say that this particular question is a very difficult question, such a conceptual based question. Okay? Idea is after this session, you should discard all the terminology which has been circulated in your mind and in your surrounding by the market. Focus upon the basic. First basic is your NCERT. Second is the basic newspaper at your hand. It can be Indian Express or the Hindu. Second question. This year's question from economy. Look at it. Which of the following are the sources of the income from Reserve Bank of India? Now don't look here, don't look here. Focus on me. ठीक है? अच्छी चीजों को देखो. My point is, can, a simple question to all of you from a very common understanding, can RBI give loan to Adani or Ambani's company? Can Ambani and Adani go to RBI and take loan from them? Nahi? Right? Why? Because RBI is the central government bank, established under the RBI Act of 1934. Everybody knows this. Okay, very good. Now look at the fourth statement. Lending to private companies. RBI obviously does not make money from that, does not make income from that. Can we remove the fourth statement from this particular question? Remove it. Now you are left with two options. First is 1 and 2 only. Last is 1, 2 and 5th. So basically 1 and 2 is absolutely correct. पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. We will not waste our time. Anyway, we have very less at our disposal. Look at the 5th. Printing and distributing currency notes. A term which we called as seigniorage. है ना? If someone has used note, है ना, I hope some good income family people are also here and they have seen notes in their life and they have seen the RBI's governor's signature there. By that understanding, can somebody do this particular question? This is the difficulty level. Prelims 2025. है ना? Again, why this question was asked? Look at the article. Where does the RBI surplus come from? And they have explained to you in the utmost detail how RBI lend money to the various banks, how they actually invest in the government bonds, central government, state government, commercial banks with interest. Nowhere private companies mentioned. One identification of one such option and elimination of it leads us directly to the answer. ठीक है? यहाँ तक clear है? Moving to the art and culture section, again the most fearsome, the most dreaded section. They can ask anything. I am saying, ठीक है. Some of you will be like, dost, how to actually assess that there is something, the news which is important. The point is that if there is a recognition of an Indian site at an international level, can we recognize that? Can be considered as something of the importance, right? Like for example, in the prelims examination, they have said the news of national international level importance. है ना? That to a UNESCO site, a United Nations site. ठीक? Geet Sharma is saying we did this in Analyst for Economic Capital Framework. Yes, absolutely, but that is a different initiative, and I cannot promote that here. ठीक है? I'm an honest person, unlike you, Geet. My point is, मैं कह रहा हूँ ठीक है, we cannot dwell in depth. ठीक है? Let's say, for example, in the newspaper articles, can we just remember the headings? Shanti Niketan finds a place on UNESCO World Heritage List. 3 Hoysala's temples of Karnataka inscribed as UNESCO World Heritage Site. Question which they are asking is which of these 2 sites or how many of the sites were actually included in the year of 2023? The answer is 2. As simple as that. Sir, can we just read the newspaper topics which are given by Vajiram daily instead of reading whole? Yes. The topics which are being given to you on the social media platform is actually all the important articles. That itself is 10 to 12. Kitna padhoge? है ना? ठीक. 2 important things which we have established till now. Thoda sa GS, है ना? Basic NCERTs published by the government. Second, reading the basic newspaper at your disposal. ठीक. Now, if we have mastered these 2, the third is the implementation of your common sense. ठीक. Just like how we applied in the last question as well. ठीक. We'll try to do the very same thing. ठीक. My question to all of you is, ठीक. Let's say, for example, there is a person. That person comes across this particular question. A person who is just starting his preparation. ठीक. Look at the 3 statement. First, India has joined the Mineral Security Partnership. So you need to know about whether India has joined an international initiative or not. Second, India is resource-rich country in 30 critical minerals. So you need to know about the mineral resources which we have in our country. Seems like a very factual question. Third, Parliament in 2023 has amended a Mines and Minerals Act of 1957. Now, many of the times it is being advised by the topper as well that how if we are actually analyzing the PYQ, it helps us to analyze the important things. Many of the time, these important things actually reappear in the examination. This is exactly what has happened this year as well. For example, in the year of 2019, they asked a specific question on Mines and Minerals Act of 1957, right? Where they ask about the state's power to regulate the minor minerals. This year, because there was an amendment done in 2023, they ask a particular question. Okay? My question to all of you is that if anybody, let's say for example, there is a layman, okay, who is living in the region of Manipur, where right now we are having precedent rule. Okay? That person does not have all the access to all the source of information which you guys have right now. Is that person under Article 14, right to equality, is also equally eligible enough to appear for this examination? The answer is yes. Remember, when the examiner is going to create the paper, the examiner will ensure that the paper is equally difficult for that person as well. It's not like you guys should have extra advantage. So when the examiner is going to establish that, the idea is, let's say for example, I'm opening the newspaper, one common theme in the economy section which you guys might be also coming across is, that is the import dependency which we have on China. For what? For critical rare earth elements, right? The huge trade deficit which we have with China. Now imagine, very recently there was an article where the Indian automobile makers, they were actually complaining that now China has kind of declined, that we will not provide you rare earth elements like lithium and cobalt to make automobile devices. You need to purchase it completely from us. That was the newspaper heading. Okay? This much of simple level of understanding. Now read the second statement. India is a resource-rich country in all the 30 critical minerals that has been identified. Then why we are importing so much from China? Correct? Simple, basic understanding of the economic situation prevailing in your country will help you to eliminate the second option, and you can directly get to the answer. 1 and 3 only. Itna clear? What we did here, we actually focused upon certain factual statement, a factual statement which was so extreme in the nature that it was almost impossible that it can happen in the reality. And from where we derive this understanding? By understanding of the very basic concepts and reading such important articles. Only the heading of it as well. Adit is saying the recent port bill have come, so that can have a chance next year. Any initiative which has been taken by the government, any major initiative, you guys should focus upon that. Why? Because you have to become a government servant at the end of the day. ठीक है? ये clear है? यहाँ तक. Now we'll try to apply this learning. You people will apply that. ठीक है? थोड़ा सा मेहनत तुम भी करो. In this particular question. ठीक है? The answer shall be given at least in this context. Identify one statement, eliminate it, get to the answer. 30 seconds, come on. Maitri is saying C. Okay. Anybody else? A lot of people are actually guessing it correct right now. है ना? Shaurya, I hope you are getting this as well. Aman is saying 2 is definitely wrong, absolutely correct. Ganesha, Manvi, Saraswati, all of them you have actually got it correct. Okay. Also make sure guys that there are people who are discussing on the YouTube as well, and they are also giving the correct answer. Okay. My point is why this question was framed. Because there is now a debate which was taking place at that point of time. The position at that point of time was basically blaming the government in the center that you guys are making this new parliament building. But this new parliament building does not have any cultural relation with our past whatsoever. है ना? Opposition wants something to criticize. They were criticizing. So what happened? So came an article which actually talked about that yes, indeed, the old parliament building was actually kind of designed upon a Chausath Yogini temple. UPSC did what? Took the context of that, created a question. Okay? Again, at a surface level, it seems like it is a very factual question. You need to know which particular dynasty actually made it, which particular religion it belonged to, right? The most important point is we look at the second statement. Only circular temple built across the country, 28 states, 9 union territories. Absolutely correct, Maitri. You identify one such statement, you are able to eliminate that and get the answer. Something of the past, if the learning of this could have been applied this year as well. Now, just look at both of the questions. Both of the questions are asked on 2 different topics. Seems like to be asked in 2 different fields, economy and art and culture, but both of them are very same, one question. Correct? So remember, what I'm trying to make you understand is the vocabulary of the UPSC's examiner, where they check your present sense of mind, something which you have to apply in the exam as well. Correct? Now, look at this particular question. Okay? Can we apply the very same learning which we have derived till now on this first question? Anyone? To all the people who are asking very big questions, remember, at the end of the session, I will take up all the questions. ठीक? तुम लोग पूछते रहना, मैं बताते रहूँ. अभी थोड़ा सा focus करते हैं. ठीक है? 20-25 questions, guys, very difficult. Please solve as fast as you can. Also remember, we are solving questions right now in the span of a minute, within a minute, and it's not like you guys have revised anything recently. Is this clear? है ना? We are basically solving the prelims question, and we have not revised anything very recently. Correct? Simple idea. Look at this. India does not import apple from the United States of America. So what happened? India basically imposed import duty on the apples which we were importing from the USA. Why we did that? Because we wanted to give an edge to our own home growers, right? The apple growers from the region of Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh. If anybody is reading the newspaper, very oftenly it actually describes Kashmir as the apple bowl of our country, which produces 70% of the apple. Simple point is that there was a trade negotiation which took place between India and USA, like how we are trying to conduct right now because of the tariff imposition which has taken place. So we conducted a trade negotiation and we came to the conclusion that, okay, theek hai, we will remove the import duty. That basically made our apples uncompetitive in the market. What UPSC did, it said, okay, took the cognizance of this particular issue and created a particular question on that. What I'm trying to tell you is, let's imagine there was a student who did not read this current affair at all, but he was ordering on Instamart, Swiggy, apples. When he was scrolling, he came across Washington apple, right? थोड़ा सा पढ़ा लिखा था. He was like, अरे, Washington is in USA, such a fact. Remove the first statement, get the answer. That's all. Prelims 2025. Correct, absolutely correct, Shivam. So for self-reliance, Atmanirbhar Bharat. यहाँ तक clear है. When UPSC examiner is creating this question, he was like, अब इससे easy क्या बना सकता हूँ? बच्चे की जान लोगे. I am giving you 2 marks. It is waiting for you in the examination. Please come and grab it. There are students who are basically worrying in the month of September, should I give the next year's attempt or not? They are afraid of this difficult paper. They are having sleepless night. Point is, now the simple trend which we have established, let's try to solve 2 more questions this year. 2 more. So this is 6 marks. You guys will solve it. I will not help you. Take it. First question this year. On the left. Very good. Rishika, Rajiv, absolutely correct. Manvi, Shivam, Nihal, Priyanka, absolutely correct. Right? Point is, see, is there any specific information which has been asked by UPSC here in a form of a fact? The answer is no. There is no fact which you need to know about. So it is not saying any specific unmanned aerial vehicles or UAVs which has been designed by any specific institution of the country. Nothing as such. So let's say, for example, I am someone who is very interested in designing such UAV. Okay? If I am designing that, can all the UAVs which I am designing will be able to do vertical landing? Or they will have automated hovering? Or maybe I am using any other source rather than battery as a power supply. Correct? The moment this question has been designed, 3 statements, all, that itself becomes to have such an extreme possibility of not taking place. The same thing will happen here as well. And imagine that these 2 questions are asked in the very same paper. Hai? So for example, one very basic understanding about the virus tells us what? That there exists, let me tell you, almost no nillion virus in the world. No nillion. Take for layman's understanding. Hai? No nillion basically understands for 10 to the power 30 virus, and that is an estimation. Okay? So from this much large sample space which we have, at least there will be one virus who can survive in the ocean water. One virus who infects the bacteria, and Geet has absolutely answered correct. Bacteriophages, right? A particular kind of a virus which impacts the bacteria. Third is basic understanding of virus tells us what? That when the virus actually wants a host to survive, they change the cellular transcriptional activity. That is the basic thing which they do to actually survive in the host body. None. Correct? 3 questions, 6 marks waiting for you. Point is, now add this with the simple understanding of the current affairs. 10 questions there at least. 10 questions at least from the NCERT. 20 questions, 40 marks are there. And then there are such questions of 5-6 questions as such, which we can solve even by the basic common understanding as well. Hana? Another one. Now just do the reverse of it. Okay? Same thing. If there was all and none, now there is sum. Is there any definition of sum, anyone? Hana? Like for example, some rich people might be here. Hana? For them, sum is like, sir, 10 lakh rupees. Hana? For me, 10 rupees also is sum only. I consider that. Okay? My point is, Shivam is asking that on YouTube as well. Okay? Thank you, Shivam, for answering for me. Okay? From right now, all the questions for me shall be directed towards Shivam. Okay? Ruchika is saying, sir, so are not yellow books a substitute for NCERT? We will come on this discussion of NCERT and reference book. Okay? We'll discuss about that. Okay? My point is, some mushrooms have medicinal properties. Yes, the answer does not lie here about your knowledge about mushroom. The answer lies in a specific term, and that is what? Sum. As the sum is a non-defined term in the nature itself, hear this very clearly. Because it is not defined, it is very difficult for the examiner to make this statement incorrect. Hai? Because tomorrow Vishal might be wandering across, let's say, Western Ghat region, and might come across one mushroom who might be having medicinal property. Take it. Some people can claim also. You can actually go take the UPSC to the court if they make this statement incorrect. You are like, I was having actually coughing. In the morning, I woke up, I ate a mushroom. Now it is clear it has medicinal property. Prove me wrong. Correct. UPSC does not want to get into the dispute. They want to release the result as soon as possible. Sum itself is the answer. 4 sum basically means all 4. Now this was a question which asked in 2023. A student like you analyzed the PYQ, went into prelims 2025. Now look at the questions. क्या difference है? Both of the questions has been now asked on two different topics. Keep this in mind. It seems like a question, right, on mushrooms. So from flora and fauna, this is a question about economics. Correct. The idea is, do we have some rare earth elements which are used in the manufacture of television screen? The answer is some. Indeed. Why? Because they have phosphorescent or luminescent properties which provide them color, right? यहाँ तक clear है, ठीक है? Puneet, Santosh, I have again said before as well that I'm going to take all the questions towards the end. थोड़ा सा patience रखना है life में, ठीक है? Now this particular question, ठीक है? This is the chain of thought which shall arise in a student's mind when they are asking the question. Ask these questions to yourself in the span of 15 seconds. Try to answer this. ठीक है? Astha is saying A. Rishika is saying B. So we have some doubts here. ठीक है, perfect. चलो अच्छा. See, the point is, whatever you guys are learning, ask yourself. ठीक है? All of you here, the part of this session. ठीक है? गीता पे हाथ रखेंगे, है ना? Of your choice. ठीक है? Irrespective of the religion which you guys have. ठीक है? कुरान, Bible सब ले लेते हैं. Ask yourself a question very honestly. All the things which you guys are learning, in the span of that 1 minute when the question will be asked in the prelims, would you guys will be able to recall each and every information, each and every factual data? When you guys are reading the magazine and you come across 10 important points, 10 important data, you try to learn all of them. My question to all of you is, till right now, how many database questions you have seen? है ना? And everybody is worried about data. You guys are worried about so much of data. National Sample Survey Office has actually created another department also, that we need to create data for UPSC aspirants. They are waiting every single day to learn 10 more data. My point is, when we cannot recall all the factual information in that 1 minute of time, we need to create a chain of thought. ठीक है? How we can actually create it? Simple answer. When we read about this, the idea is, it is talking about the listed companies in India. ठीक? Where a company is listed? In the stock market. है ना? National Stock Exchange, Bombay Stock Exchange, that's where a particular company is listed. So when a company is listed there, which is a regulatory authority to actually control the listed companies? Absolutely correct. Every day in the newspaper, it comes across, right? Security and Exchange Board of India. At the same time, when you are try to put yourself in the position of the examiner and think, when you are creating the question, you copied the statement, you were like, SEBI mandates all listed company. You were like, but I have been hired by UPSC to create question. I am just copy pasting a statement like how I did in geography. So I am basically not doing any work. I am getting money for free. है ना? You have to justify your payment also, right? So you did what? Let me change something in this. I will tweak the question in such a way that it will completely become non-solvable for UPSC aspirant. The point is, in this particular case, the organization was the most easily replaceable fact. Correct? The Reserve Bank of India. So SEBI was basically replaced with RBI. The prime objective of RBI is to do what? To regulate the banks, not the listed companies. Simple understanding of RBI. Again, second time in the very same paper. Now, the understanding which we have developed, if a statement is so open-ended, right, it becomes very difficult for the UPSC to actually prove it incorrect. Like how we did in the case of sum. Correct? In the second statement now, can we find such term? Anyone? See, Lakshita, when I am saying that 10% of the farmers in our country are small and marginalized, it's a fact. And 10% is very easily replaceable by 20, 30, 40. But when I am saying large section of Indian farmers are small and marginalized, large is not defined. So UPSC cannot come and say that nahi, this is not large or this is not small. It's an undefined term. The same power which is also used by the various acts of the government. They are going to curb your freedom of speech and expression, not only yours, mine also, under Article 19 by if you disrupt what? Public order. What is public order? Anybody? Is it defined? Absolutely not. So that ambiguity itself leaves with the government a large scale power. Similarly, in this particular case, it says the reports are largely non-financial in nature. Largely is not defined. I am saying even if 10 such reports are actually being non-financial in the nature, I will consider it largely. That is my perspective. The second option is absolutely correct. Exactly. There is Ila Varasi, who has actually said a very statement. It is actually open to subject of interpretation. So if there is a statement given in the prelims examination which can have wide interpretation, it has high possibility of being correct as well. Clear hai? So for example, change kar dete hain. ठीक? Change this statement. Change it to 30% of the mushrooms all across the world have medicinal properties. Now it is a fact. Either you know or you don't know. And this fact is easily replaceable as well. But some of the mushrooms, some is not defined here. ये clear है, यहाँ तक समझ में आया? ठीक? So if there is subjectivity anywhere, if the statement is not specific, not specialized in the nature, it has high possibility of being correct. Similarly, if there is an extreme statement, है ना, all encompassing statement, all UAVs or no virus, then it has high possibility of being incorrect. यहाँ तक clear है? ठीक? This is basically the common sense application. The point is, ठीक? One more question we'll take from the polity, ठीक? Just to make you understand how predictable the UPSC's examination is. All of you might be hearing about the very frequent appearance of the governor's power over state bill. यहाँ तक clear है? ठीक? One more technique. I do not want to dwell too much in depth. We have very less time actually at our disposal. So the point is, there is one more technique which we can actually establish, and that is हम साथ साथ हैं method. यहाँ तक clear? What is हम साथ साथ हैं method? There are certain statements which actually supplements each other. If the statement A is correct, statement B will always be correct. You understand that? For example, let's say the first statement says India is a deficit country in the context of rare earth element. Ye clear hai? The second statement says India is highly dependent on import for self-sufficiency in the minerals. Both of the statements supplements each other. This is clear? First statement says India is highly import dependent on critical earth element. First statement. Second statement says by 2030 India will become a completely self-sufficient country in the context of rare earth element. Is it true? Nahi, obviously not. We are 100% reliant on lithium. How in the span of 5 years will become completely self-sufficient? Not a possibility. Clear hai? So two statements, if they support each other, hum saath saath hai. Then there are certain statements. If the first is correct, the second ultimately becomes wrong by the default itself. Ye clear hai? जैसे कि for example, the first statement says that governor has certain discretionary power. Again, see how the UPSC examiner did not wanted any debate around this statement, so he kept it very widely open. He said governor has discretionary power in certain sphere, not specified it. है ना? That okay, in this particular case, governor has a discretionary power, did not say that. Certain sphere, yes, he has. Article 163, clause 2 itself says that. है ना? Second statement says that when the president is considering any particular bill of the state legislature, then he can consider it even without being forwarded. The governor discretion is applied where? Article 200, where he reserves a particular bill for the consideration of the president. Ye clear hai? Article 201, president consider the bill which has been reserved by the governor. If the first statement is correct, second is incorrect. Yes, exactly. The application of two important articles, Article 200 and 201. Why UPSC asks is because the apex court's judgment in Tamil Nadu state versus Governor of Tamil Nadu 2025. The judgment was passed in the month of April 2025. UPSC asked this question in the month of May. इतना predictable exam है, यहाँ तक clear है. My question to all of you is, what is the threshold which we target when we want to clear the UPSC prelims examination? The target is 100 marks. Correct? Can we get such 10 questions from NCERT which you guys have solved right now? Take 10 into 2, 20 marks. Can we solve simple 10 questions from the current affair, the one which you solved, even with your basic understanding without even reading about that topic? Correct? 20 marks. Can we solve 5 questions from the utilization of present sense of mind? Keep this in mind. We'll also conduct further sessions to actually enhance your kind of a question solving skill set. So we'll keep on conducting sessions for that as well. In this session, the idea is to actually establish how predictable and solvable the UPSC prelims 2026 is going to be. My question to all of you is, can we solve 5 questions by the present sense of mind? Just by doing the very bare minimum. Okay? Sahil is asking, sir, please explain. Hum saath saath hain. Sahil, we will conduct further sessions to develop the skill set of solving the question. Wahan we will discuss it thoroughly. Okay? Hai na? Right now, is this clear to you? To achieve this 50 marks, just by doing the basic bare minimum, basic NCERTs, newspaper, and applying present sense of mind, can we get to this 50 marks? So basically, we are almost half the way to actually clear the prelims examination. But the point is, you need to actually revise your NCERTs multiple number of times. Read the current affairs thoroughly, make the short notes out of it for the revision purpose before the prelims, and keep on practicing this skill set of solving questions every single day to actually get to this easy 50 marks. But the point is, the moment you get to this 50, the paper has actually become easier for you, because now you require 50 out of 150 marks which are left. Correct? So now in the remaining 75 questions of the examination, you are required to score only 50 marks. The paper has actually become easier for you. Just by doing what? By identifying these low-hanging fruits which the toppers talks about. Then the idea is, if we are diligently preparing for this examination, at least there will be 20 to 30 such questions which will have 50-50 approach, where you guys will be able to eliminate 1 or 2 statements. Hai na? All the knowledge which you guys have got, the skill set which you will develop, 20 to 30 questions mein 50-50 at least we can get. That okay, option A will be there or option B will be there. My idea is that out of this 30 questions, even if you guys are able to solve, let's say 10 to 15 questions, then we have got another 20 marks. Hai na? In the remaining 50 questions which are there in the prelims examination, now you guys are required to solve only 25 to 30 out of it. Correct? So that is the 3 iterations which the topper talks about. I solved my paper in the 3 iterations. First, they did what? They solved the low-hanging fruits, the 25 questions which are waiting for you in the examination to get it to you 50 marks. Second iteration, I will solve those questions where I was able to eliminate certain options and I was able to get to the 50-50 zone. Option A or option B. There might be another such 25 questions. Here also my probability would be on the higher side because I have been able to eliminate most of the statements. Take it. Idea is, let's say for example, out of this 25, I'm able to solve if even 15 correct. 10 I got wrong. In the rest 50, I actually have a luxury to decide on any 35 questions. 15 questions I can completely not touch as well. Take. Out of this 35, let's go with A, B, C and D. Hai na? Jai Mata Di A, Jai Mata Di B. Take it. My question to all of you is, can we have 30 to 40% probability here? Correct. Even after doing that, we'll be able to get at least 12 to 15 questions correct. Now just count the correct number of questions which you have done. 25, 15, 50. That is 55 questions correct. Out of 85. 30 questions, even if it goes wrong, now calculate the number which you guys are getting. Correct. Yes, absolutely, Shipra. I'm calculating the negative marking also. Okay. See, the idea is, I solved 85 questions. Okay. Out of this 85, if I was able to get the 25 low hanging fruits, in the second iteration I was able to get at least 15 questions with 50 to 60% of the probability. And towards the end, if I was able to at least get 15 questions out of 35 I solved, where every second question, even if I am doing incorrect, so I will end up getting 55 to 57 questions at least correct by this bare minimum effort. है ना? Just by ensuring this low hanging fruit that this is the section which shall not be compromised. In the remaining 30 questions, even if I do it incorrect, okay, 55 into 2, it will become 110. 35 into 0.67, it will become approximately 18 to 20 marks, right? The idea is very safely I am reaching 90 to 95 marks just by focusing upon these low hanging fruits, the 25 questions. Now it is obvious that if I am studying the current affairs, if I am integrating it with the reference book, the second iteration in this 15 question, we can actually improve it by 2 or 3 questions here and 2 or 3 questions here. We have ended up clearing the examination. Itna hi difficult hai. You know where the problem actually arises? The problem arises in this particular section when you actually go and you will be unable to solve that geography question from that diagram. From the economic question, imagine someone might have done this, the primary deficit and fiscal deficit question incorrect this year itself. Yahan tak clear hai na? So focus on the 3 important basics which we have discussed there to actually make our paper more predictable. The low hanging fruits. First and foremost, the multiple revision of what? The basic NCERTs and supplementing it with a reference book. Now someone was there who asked a question, what is the difference between the NCERTs and the reference book? Idea is, let's say for example, Rakesh is there and Rakesh is solely focusing upon the NCERTs. Okay? Yahan tak sahi. He's actually reading all of that important data, details, facts, figures, solving questions from that. Absolutely fine. What Shaurya is doing that he's also supplementing those NCERTs with one specific reference book. Now keep this in mind that this reference can actually become your preference. There is one reference book which has been suggested by the topper. It has worked for the topper, it will work for you as well. Okay? Or if there is any specific reference book which has been given to you by the institution from where you are taking the coaching, read that. But keep this in mind. NCERT and one reference book. Okay? One reference book, one NCERTs, one source of current affair. That's all. The moment we actually limit down our resources to maximum 3 formula, we will be able to maximize the output, and that is multiple amount of revisions. Why the multiple amount of revisions are not possible for most of the students is because, let's say for example, Jyotsna was studying till today one particular reference book. Let's name that reference book yellow. Tomorrow someone came, someone said, why you are reading yellow? That particular person, that topper, that ranker has referred green. She will switch to green now, right? She will, let's say for example, attempt one PYQ. She was unable to solve that. Again, now she will develop a distrust on the source which she was referring from so many months and will switch to another source. By this exercise, you guys have been unable to develop a command on any one specific source. That source can also be your class 11th NCERT of geography from which every single year they are asking 2 marks easy question. Correct? Bhuvnesh is asking what about the class notes and handouts. So yes, we will also be kind of including our class notes because we are not discussing that specifically here. The reason for that is because again, anybody who has attended the foundation class or is attending them, you guys are making your foundational notes for each and every topic. Okay? It's very obvious that you will integrate with NCERT and with reference book your handouts as well. My point is to any one of you, let's say for example, if you are revising a particular topic, and that topic in this particular case is the pardoning power of precedent. Okay? My question to all of you is that pardoning power of precedent which you guys have learned in the class, is that topic also available in your NCERT? Correct? Is that topic also available in your reference books? Any reference book which you have on the table, irrespective of the names around it. Okay? Yellow, green, red, सब में available है. Now the point is, you want to cover one particular topic, and that is patterning power. Why not to read that patterning power at one go from all the three sources which you have? Common to all, absolutely correct. है ना? For example, you can start with your class notes if you have done the foundation classes. Read it from there. वो कर लिया, foundation class हो गई, well and good. Second, now I will read the very same topic from, let's say for example, the yellow book or any reference book which you guys have. The topic is entirely the same. There might be one or two additional points which you find there. है ना? If I'm now reading the NCERT, again, I have understood about this topic. If I'm reading the NCERT, I can just add one or two points from there as well. Simple. यहाँ तक clear है. Now again, when we were discussing about these 20 to 30 questions with 50-50 approach, by addition of one reference book, where there was a collection of information from different books. What is a reference book? The idea is, Shaurya wants to know 2 or 3 more points than his competitor Rakesh. For that purpose, he wanted to do the Google search, do the research by himself, add points, but that is very difficult. Correct? What he did rather, he actually referred to one reference book which has been designed, any particular reference book referred by topper has been designed after the integration of various books. Correct? From there, Shaurya was actually capable to add 2 or 3 more points, and that will give him edge over Rakesh. That's all. Take it. By the addition of this reference book, one reference book as such, can we solve more questions in this section? The paper actually becomes more easier for us. Yahan tak clear? The idea is, if we focus on these 3 low-hanging fruits, we are able to get to that 50 marks barrier out of 100. The rest 50 is required from how many marks? 150. Correct? 75 questions, only 50 marks are required now. The paper has actually become easier. You can actually afford to do every second or third question incorrect in the examination. Correct? Yahan tak clear? Theek. Shivam is asking that, sir, can we do the chat GPT? We will discuss about it. Theek. The point is, if we discuss, now one important aspect which we are going to cover, and that is going to be the evergreen debate between the prelims and mains. है ना? Open any particular website at this point of time, all of them are telling you mains is specific strategy, prelims is specific strategy. है ना? Syllabus किसी को याद नहीं. ठीक? Priyanka is saying, sir, I was able to solve some of the question at the home, but I couldn't do so in the examination hall. Exactly. That's where the test series becomes important, Priyanka, right? To give you the feeling of examination condition, to make you solve the papers in the real examination condition in the span of 2 hours every weekend. That is something which we are going to discuss as well when we'll create a revision schedule. Right now, I have a question for all of you. Okay? Simple question. This is something which we actually taught when we were basically revising the prelims test series. Okay? So from that, you will also get a discussion video. We talked about this. Okay? Ram Ankit. है ना? बहुत दिन हो गए दोस्त. Point is, when we were discussing about the prelims examination, what we discussed? Okay? We discussed about Jyotiba Phule. Okay? So for example, social religious reform movement wave was there, है ना? In the early 19th century. There were so many organizations which wanted to reform the caste discrimination which was taking place at that point of time. You guys might have read about the Prarthana Samaj, Paramhans Mandali. But nobody before Jyotiba Phule actually gave the idea of abolition of the caste system altogether. Okay? Then came Jyotiba Phule. So when we are reading about Jyotiba Phule from the prelims perspective, forget about the mains here. Okay? From the prelims perspective, you guys will read about his work in establishment of the school for the women at Bhidewada, Pune, 1848. Fact hai. Second, you guys will learn about Satyashodhak Samaj which he established. है ना? You guys will get to learn about the book which actually inspired him, and that was the book Thomas Paine, Rights of Man. So he was inspired from that book, wanted to uplift the downtrodden caste of, at that point of time, Malis, Telis and Kunbis. So he gave the idea that we shall unite these downtrodden into Bahujan, because they formed the majority at that point of time. And to actually kind of highlight the discrimination which these people were facing at that point of time, he wrote a book called as Gulamgiri. है ना? So if you guys can recall, American Revolution, 1861 to 65, slaves are fighting their civil war. So he compared the position of downtrodden in our country to the slaves of USA. Okay? Obviously, nothing as such exists in modern day time, and we are completely outgrown all of that. Okay? It's just that the National Family Health Survey data tells us that 97% of the manual scavengers are belong to scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. So obviously, these are the things of the past. You do not need to worry about it. My point is, all of these facts which we have learned for the prelims to solve a prelims question is that act as a ready-made answer for this year mains examination of GS1 paper. Anyone read the question. How does the Jyotiba Phule's writing, correct, and efforts of social reform touch the issues of all subaltern classes, Malis, Telis, Kundis, right? The people from the lower caste, the woman, the girl at that point of time, correct? So if someone, basically what we are deriving from this here, a kind of an idea, is that if someone is actually learning the facts for the prelims examination, does that person has good arguments to write in the mains answer? यहाँ तक clear है? Correct? ठीक है? Now the idea is दोनों अलग अलग नहीं है. What we are learning for prelims is actually very much applicable for the mains as well. Because if you are learning for the prelims examination, will you learn about the pardoning power of president? Correct? Under Article 72, it is an executive power where the kind of president can actually pardon punishment or sentence for offense against a union law, or if a sentence is for a military court. Here our president does not sit as a court of appeal. All of these facts you need to learn for the prelims as well. Am I clear? है ना, prelims के लिए यही याद कर रहे होगे. I hope someone is not learning something else. है ना? My point is, if someone would have read these facts, learned these facts for the prelims examination, and someone would have read the current affair, the particular date of this article is 4th of December. 4th of December 2024. The question was asked in this year prelims examination in the month of 2025 August. The article that day talked about US President Joe Biden, who basically granted an unconditional pardon to his son Hunter Biden. So obviously nepotism is a problem only in our country. It is not happening in USA. है ना? Point is, this is basically the power called as preemptive power of pardoning, which only lies with the US president, where they can actually pardon someone even if that person has not been sentenced yet. Clear? Ruchika is saying, in fact, I heard those people who are mains ready could crack pre this year. It is vice and versa. If someone is well versed with the facts of the prelims, that person can write good answer for mains. That is exactly what we are establishing here right now. And why this person was learning this fact? Because he wanted to write a good answer in the mains examination. It is as simple as that. There is nothing like prelims preparation and mains preparation. Next time you meet someone, if that person says, I am preparing only for mains, don't listen to that person. It is as simple as that. The examination is not different. UPSC is a very non-biased institution. Does not do any differentiation between prelims and mains. 1 year they asked about Ramsar site, gave to list the Ramsar site in the mains examination. ठीक है? Which actually students learn for what? For prelims purpose. यहाँ तक clear है? ठीक है? The point is, this particular learning you guys can derive on any platform which is available on YouTube. What is different today? We are going to apply our learning by reading this article together. ठीक? इसके लिए do I have support? ठीक? Sahil Kumar is asking on YouTube why prelims video in the month of September. Okay, that is exactly what we are trying to decipher today. Sahil, है ना? Join us. Shivam is saying data becomes limited, sir, for writing good answer in some of the topic. I face this issue. We will try to discuss that, Shivam. Okay, perfect. My point is, when we look at this article, first and foremost, how we identify this article is actually relevant for prelims and mains. First thing, if we have the command on the syllabus. This is where a student who has actually written mains examination has an edge over the someone who has not given prelims yet. Because this person who has already given mains examination, that person has developed a command on the syllabus. That person knows that, wait, Issues related to women development forms an integral component of your GS1 paper. Look at the article's heading. India's gender gap report, which basically our ranking, the abysmal ranking which we have in the global gender gap report, how that act as a warning. Okay? The moment someone is looking at such articles, any such piece of information, either in static book or in the current affair article, my suggestion to all of you is develop two perspectives in your mind. When we look at this article, we will have very objective approach. We have very less time at our disposal. Okay? We will not make a cup of tea, clear our table, sit with a good view of the window, and we will like, chalo, newspaper padhte hain. We will not do that. We have 5 minutes of time. Let's read this article. Okay? Point is, the moment I develop the mains perspective, I open the lens of mains in my mind. For mains, what all is required? What all the topper has told you? To have ready-made intro and conclusion. Is it clear? Hana? We need to have ready-made intro and conclusion. Second is, whenever we will attempt any mains question which has been designed till today, it will be asking about some issue. When you are writing about the issue, obviously you will write about the initiatives which has been taken by the government of India. That is your basic job as a bureaucrat, correct? Third is that you will provide some suggestion, and that is your CV to the examiner. है ना? All the way forward which you guys are writing there, the innovative suggestions which you guys are writing there, the best global practices, the recommendations by the committees, the following of the constitution articles and DPSPs is what? Your CV to the examiner. See, I know about the directive principle of state policy, I will implement it. I have read about the Dalwais committee report to double the farmer's income, I will write it. I know about this UN convention which was India has also adopted. I will implement it at the grassroots level, you don't worry. Correct? Your way forward is nothing but the CV to the examiner. Please select me as a future bureaucrat. Yahan tak clear hai. When we are looking at this article, we'll follow this IIS approach to become an IS. Issue, initiative, suggestion. Simple. If this article is telling us about some issues, we will note it down for main. If this article is telling us some initiatives by the government, we'll note it down. And some suggestion. Look at the article. The article is started by a paragraph. The paragraph is a ready-made introduction to write on any issues related to women development. Take a ready-made introduction. The article starts with how India is a global economic power. This report is released by World Economic Forum, where our ranking is 131, which act as a reminder that when it comes to gender equality, India remains far behind. Clear? Ready-made introduction, Global Gender Gap Report published by World Economic Forum, where our ranking is abysmally low at 131, is basically a stark reminder that how we are unable to do the kind of achieve the gender equality. Clear? Then the article tells you about some issues. For example, one such issue can be that how we have been unable to improve the condition or good condition of health for women in our country. Correct? है ना? But if I stop my point here, I am basically making an allegation. Hear this very carefully. Take. If I stop my point here, I am making an allegation. What is the difference between an allegation and an argument? Substantiation by data. Substantiation by example. And if I am substantiating it and I quote a survey by the government itself, don't you think I will fetch 1 extra marks? Clear? This article tells us 57% of the Indian women in the age group of 15 to 49 years are anemic, as per what? National Family Health Survey. This article tells us how we have ranked 143rd on the economic participation and opportunity. The article tells us how women earn less than third of what men do. You have data to write upon the gender equality, which still becomes a far distant dream for our country. So we have got issues, guys. The article provides us a way forward. Quoting the survey data, absolutely correct, Shiva. The article provides us a way forward. Can anybody identify that? What is the way forward given in the article? Anybody? Absolutely correct, Maitri. Closing the gender gap. Listen here. McKinsey Global Institute had projected that if our country close the gender gap, it will add $770 billion to our economy, thus helping our country to become what? Viksit Bharat by 2047. Correct. The point is, this particular data by McKinsey can act as a good way forward towards the end. We have certain very good points now, extracted points for the mains purpose. Okay. But is it sufficient for the prelims? The answer is no. Why? Because now we need to remember the factual data for the prelims examination, which can become statements. So who releases global gender gap report? Anyone? World Economic Forum. What is our ranking in this year? 131. On what 4 parameters this ranking is derived? Economic participation, educational attainment, health and survivor, political empowerment. If we know that this is the 19th edition, that basically means this article is being published annually. Correct? Second, in 2025, India has closed how much of a gender gap? 68%. So is there any country which has achieved complete gender parity in the world? The answer is no. No economy has yet achieved full gender parity. Then you guys can actually learn some data to establish some points. Like for example, 40% gender gap has been closed. Our labor force participation for women is what? 45%. Do the share of women in the parliament has increased or decreased? It has declined. Correct. From 14% to 13.8 in 2025. Yahan tak clear hai? What we did, we read an article again together. We learned some points for mains, learned some point for prelims. Now just try to solve this question on your left. Anyone? Very good, Ruchika. Absolutely. We read one article. This can be a very probable question in this year prelims examination. If it would have come like this in the examination, you guys would have said this is a very factual question. 3 facts were given, how to identify. But all of you are able to actually solve this question. Kya kiya humne? We read one article. This kind of extracted the important information for the mains and for prelims purpose. Focused upon the factual data for prelims, which can become a statement. Focused upon the important introductions, conclusions, arguments for the mains perspective. Do we have ready-made answer to write for this question? You guys have now ready-made introduction. Global gender gap report, 131. Correct. You have ready-made conclusion for this. Shivam, you were talking about this. McKinsey report, hai na, $770 billion we can add if we improve the social capital for the woman. This is exactly the difficulty level of the UPSC examination, only if you guys are focusing upon the very basics. That's what we're trying to decipher. Okay? So there is no such difference, stark difference which exists between prelims and mains. What you guys are learning for prelims and mains, the things are both one and same. All the factual data about the global gender gap index shall be remembered for prelims. The same data will help you to write good arguments in the mains answer. It is as simple as that. My point is, if you are not solving questions for prelims in the month of September and you keep on sleeping till the month of December, don't you think you are actually providing an opportunity to your competitor to have an edge over you? Yahan tak clear hai? Shaurya is saying thanks to your work and analyst. Please, Shaurya, like I'm not that person who will read this in the front of everyone. I do not want to appreciate myself. I hope no one heard this. Take moving ahead. The point is, what is the strategy? So all of the people who have joined this session, either here live or on YouTube, all the people, this is for veterans. Someone who has given multiple attempts. Keep this in mind. Okay? Someone who are done with their foundational classes, who already have the skeleton notes topic wise. So they have already made 5 important points on the pardoning power of precedent. They just need to revise it. So quick revision is indeed a possibility. So now what is required? To integrate yourself with the current affairs. So for example, if you already have a note, right, and you did not included the global gender gap index of this year, and someone is writing that in the mains answer, it's obvious that person has the edge over you. See, this particular article, right, just to actually show you guys, this article actually appeared on a specific date of 12th of July 2025, 1 month before your mains examination this year. And then they framed a question on this year mains examination on women's social capital, how it complements in advancing empowerment and gender equity, a direct introduction, conclusion, and the important arguments or issues you had from one article itself. But your prelim cycle starts from the month of this year's May to the next year April, correct? So maybe there is a possibility that a global gender gap index can be asked in the next year prelims examination. Keep this in mind. Take it. Yahan tak clear? I think the video quality is fluctuating. Some people are saying, please look at it. Take it. So if there are people who have already given multiple attempts, they have the notes, they can do quick revision, they can do a 3-block exercise. There are certain people who find themselves more comfortable in reading one subject for 1 or 2 days, correct? For those people, they can follow this. If there is someone who says, no, I want to divide my day into 3 brackets. I want to do GS, I want to do optional, and I want to do current affair. Okay? Pinakin is a part of a session. She has been a regular student. She can identify the same strategy which has been shared to her as well, and she is following that very diligently, right? The point is, look at these 3 blocks. If you want to continue with a subject for a while, first thing can be till the month of December, yes, we will try to get a hold on the mains preparation. Okay? So we will not neglect it. We'll try to create a balance, a madhyam mark. Okay? How we do that? 3 days of the week we dedicate for that GS subject which is more important for the mains examination. International relations, internal security, disaster management, society, right? Your essay, your ethics paper. So we dedicate 3 days entirely for that. We finish the mains oriented topic and we also practice our essay. Keep this in mind. Essay and ethics has become a game changer for mains guys. You cannot ignore on that. Okay? This year's result is actually a testimony to that. Okay? So 3 days we dedicate to GS subject for mains, finishing mains oriented topics as well as essay. What we are doing? We are making notes specifically for the mains examination. Value addition. From what? From the reference book as well as current affair. No third or fourth source. We are practicing answer writing on daily basis and we are attempting the test. 2 days entirely of the week will be dedicated for the optional, where the value addition will be done. From where? From the topper copies and reference book. All of you, irrespective of your optional, one thing which you guys might agree, right? We can agree on with unison. That is, in optional subject, there is a lot of possibility of repetition of same theme or same kind of questions, correct? So, if we have the possibility for that, if you are reading any particular topic of your optional on that day, try to write PYQ and create a model answer for that. Trust me, if you guys have created model answer for last 15-year PYQs of your optional, you guys will never be surprised in the mains examination. You will always have some content or write for some other topic or another. Yahan tak clear hai? Take it. 3 to 5 days, remaining 2 days of the week we will dedicate entirely for our prelims preparation from now itself. Take it. Puneet is saying please emphasize on this point, so please a little more. On which particular point, Puneet, if you can repeat? Someone, I think Anshul has asked that is this for prelims camp? No, it is only for prelims strategy. Take it. Irrespective of whatever you want to join or you are doing right now. PYQ optional of making model answer. See, the point is, what is the model to create a model answer? The best model is the topper's copy. What they are creating in the examination condition, what the answers they are writing, try to create your notes and your answers in that way. Hai na? There is a very important book called as Education, written by an anthropologist, Herbert Spencer. If there is someone who has anthropology as an option, they can actually tell more about it. In Education, Herbert Spencer basically writes that whatever we do right now, so for example, if I'm speaking right now and I'm using my hand, this is basically a genetically derived information passed from generation to generation, correct? So a lot of our ancestors basically died just to test which food we can eat and we cannot, correct? Similarly, there are toppers. They have already tried several methods to write an answer, and then they have created one which is working in the examination. If you will listen to this year's All India Rank 1, she emphasized that how she basically kind of derived the points and facts and example from the various topper copies. You guys can also do that. It has worked for them, it will work for you as well. Okay, Shivam, just wait for your questions. We'll take it towards the end. So create model answer for all the PYQs which you guys are writing. Okay. 2 days of the week will dedicate entirely for our prelims to actually have an edge over other people, because the competition is seriously increasing. How we do it? 1 day for those people who already have notes, who already can do this quick revision, who already have revised the reference books. For those people, 1 day we will revise the prelims. We will revise our class notes, NCERTs and reference book, and we will solve the PYQs on whichever topic I am studying. Okay. Ultimately, the second day I will give the test, and then I will utilize this test to do what? To check the accuracy, identify the weak areas, as well as to create a short notes of the test. Short notes कैसे बनाने हैं उस test के? For that purpose, what Power Up test series for UPSC is actually doing, the Vajiram test series. We are already providing you such revision sheet where the whole content, okay? The book is called as Education, written by Herbert Spencer, where the whole test of 60-70 page of value addition is actually summarized in this way for you in the span of 3 to 4 pages for a quick revision right before the prelims examination. Clear? Because try to understand this, the value addition which is being provided to you from the test series, obviously we cannot revise. Let's say, for example, we solved 10 tests. Each test has 60-page value addition. We cannot revise 600 pages right before the prelims. Create short notes like this, pointers. For that pointers, we will have the best 5 rule, 5 important points. So let's say, for example, if you are revising about a particular scheme, what are those 5 salient features about that scheme which can be asked in the UPSC exam? That's all. Any particular event which you guys are recalling or trying to, let's say, for example, learn 5 salient points. That's all. Yahan tak clear hai? A best 5-point strategy we are trying to focus upon. Okay? More importantly, this was the something which we could have adopted for the veterans. Now, for the people who are appearing for next year, at the same time they are also having their classes. Okay? There are certain students who are the regular students. Sir, these recall sheets are provided by Vajiram. Yes, this is a kind of a new initiative which the Vajiram has actually brought into the market. I find it actually very useful, to be very true, because this was something which we actually used to desire, that if from where we can actually revise our tests in a very short span of time, and this is a kind of a something which can be a game changer in UPSC examination, to be very true. Sir, these are some as one pagers provided in mentorship. Yes, I guess if you have joined Nubhuti any kind of mentorship in Vajiram, there are a lot of content which is being provided there, and there are also one pagers on each and every topic which has been provided to you. Yes, absolutely. But these are being especially designed for the test. So if I have given a test, let's say, for example, in the span of 2 hours, I revise the whole content of value addition in another 2 hours. But before the prelims examination, 1 month before that, what if I want to go again with all the 100 questions once again? So now if I have 1-pager notes for that, 4 pagers in this particular case, I can revise the whole test in the span of, let's say, 1 or 2 hours. Okay? Sai is saying, but I cannot see in the portal because we are talking about the Power Up Prelims test series, right, Sai? Okay? For those people who are doing the classes right now, okay? First and foremost, you are attending your foundation classes, you are attending your optional classes. 5 hours of day you are already spending in the coaching. Okay? After that, when you are actually appearing, right, let's say, for example, you are coming back home, the idea is, the one question which you shall ask is that can we actually take the help of a test series? My point is, this is actually a kind of a question which also featured on YouTube. There was a person who said that, oh my god, we are conducting a prelims specific session in the month of September. He was surprised, he might not be able to sleep today as well. My point is, why we are doing this? Because let's say there is Pinakin. Pinakin is a part of the session. She has been a regular student. It was advised to Pinakin to actually test herself, to solve the prelims question and write mains answer for whatever topic she has studied. Because unless and until you are not applying the learning which you have derived from all the books and resources. What is the point of it? Correct? A lot of students are here, and I hope that you students have already read about, right? Let's say, for example, I think the election of vice president was recently in the news, very repeatedly in the news. Can anybody tell me whether the nominated member of legislative assembly of a state participate in the election of vice president or not? Now there is a no and there is a yes, and there is a no and there is a yes. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Hai? Correct? This is exactly my idea. You guys have learnt about it. Some of you might have already made notes on the election of vice president. But when the question is asked, you actually need to apply that knowledge, and this is where the test actually becomes difficult from the revision which you guys do in the comfort at your home. Take. My suggestion to all of you is, whatever we will study, we will try to apply it, and that's why we have created a 10+1 hour study session for the students who are actually already the part of the foundational classes, in irrespective of any coaching. Take. There are people who are watching us on YouTube as well. Take. The point is, you guys might be having your GS classes of 2.5 hours. Take it. You have read about a particular topic and made the class notes. Correct? What we can do, we can actually come back home and we can revise 1 hour that particular class. 30 minutes we can actually dedicate to solve a prelims question and write a mains answer. ठीक है, इतना कर सकते हैं to actually apply the knowledge, right? We have gained to see whether it is working or not. If you are able to solve the question, you have conceptual clarity. If you are not able to solve it, that basically implies what? That we were unable to develop the conceptual understanding on that particular topic. Second is, can we actually do option classes? So we are doing option classes, 2 hours, 2.5 hours. We revise that particular option class for 1 hour. 30 minutes we can dedicate to write at least 2 PYQs. है ना? 2 PYQs we can write in the span of, let's say, 20 minutes, and we can add in that answer itself certain important points from the perspective of the, let's say, for example, value addition from the reference book or the topper copy. After this, let's say if you are doing the newspaper, some of you had the question, what is the source, the perfect source to actually do the current affair? If you will ask me honestly, take and listen to this very carefully, to all, because this is a kind of a doubt which prevails among the students in the larger student community. So I will clarify it at this platform today. Okay. The newspapers are indispensable, because when the UPSC examiner is going to create the question, he will keep the newspaper on his or her table. So if you are reading the newspaper on daily basis, it will actually help you to develop the command, to not only develop the comprehension skill, which is also required for your CSAT examination. It will help you to create a chain of thought, because you are able to actually analyze the chain of events which are taking place at the same point of time. The news, the important themes which are in the current affair, they are repeated in the nature. For example, how many of you have actually read about the tariff issue which has been imposed on by US President multiple number of times? Correct? The spatial intrusive revision exercise, which basically brought in front of us the role of Chief Election Commissioner, the role of Election Commission of India under Article 324 of the Constitution. The spatial intrusive revision exercise which talks into the debate, or brought into the debate, the major issue that whether Aadhaar card can be considered as a proof of citizenship or not. So many issues related to this spatial intrusive revision exercise has been featuring in the newspaper repeatedly. So just by focusing on one issue, you guys can actually end up covering so many issues around it. Clear? Point is that at the end of the day, as a human being, we might have the error of judgment, where this article was very important right now, which we covered. But some of you might have read this article and would have said that, okay, this article does not seem that important. Correct? This is where substantiation of your current affair with one specific source. Now, this source can be either a magazine, can be your analyst of Wajira, or can be any other thing which you are referring to for current affair. It can be a substantiation. 1 hour of newspaper reading, 1 hour for substantiation of any source. That source can be your magazine, your analyst videos, or anything else. Shivam is saying SIR in today's newspaper as well. The newspaper is actually kind of, repeatedly publishing about them. Absolutely correct. Narik asking how much time given to the prelims pointer and mains article. One more question I will address here. Very classical question. Topper said I read the current affair for 1 hour. Topper said I used to sleep in the night. In the night when I used to dream what will appear in the next day newspaper. I used to wake up. I used to be surprised. It was exactly printed in the newspaper. Try to understand this, that when a topper makes such a statement, also look at the number of attempts which a topper has gone through. है ना? If a topper has cleared the examination in his third attempt, he is reading the newspaper for 4 years. Now imagine you people after 4 years reading the same newspaper. I hope you guys not. This was an example. है ना? Some of people will take actually seriously कि अच्छा 4 years तक I have to read newspaper. Don't do it. ठीक? My point is, when they have been reading the newspaper from such a long period of time, they have already created a good amount of foundational knowledge. It is very easy for them to absorb certain new points here and there. Correct? But for a beginner, it will actually take a bit of time to read it, to understand it, to make notes. So don't make this classical mistake. Take. Puneet, I did not read your question. If you can say, say it again. Take it. So what we'll do? Will give the newspaper as much time as it requires on a particular day. Try to understand this. How many current affairs is required for 2026 from at least this year, January 2025 January. Okay? Jotting so many points in one article, won't it exceed the hours of newspaper? Maitri, understand this. Let's say we were reading this particular article. This article acted as a ready-made template for the mains answer, correct? This article provided us very important 5 points for the next year prelims examination, correct? The article is so much important for the examination. If it requires a bit of extra time, we will dedicate. But now, if there is an article today which is talking again about the special intrusive revision exercise, which you guys have already read so many number of times, you don't need to dedicate the same amount of time. So on some good days, when your luck is good, the articles which appear, they are not complex in the nature. They are not that informative in the nature. So on that particular day, you guys will find yourself to actually finish the newspaper in a very less span of time, maybe less than this. But on some good days, you will actually be a kind of required to dedicate more time to it. इसको समझो, ठीक है? Sir, we are note making viable as in the end of year. Sahil, the whole idea of note making is to cut down your effort towards the end of the examination. All of you take note of this. Likh lo. The most number of students which we actually get towards the end or when the exam actually starts approaching are those students who did not make notes. Now they don't have anything to revise. Correct? So if you do not have any short notes to revise towards the examination or when the examination is approaching, that actually creates anxiety. Then you end up basically reading all the garbage which exists in the market. Don't do this classical UPSC aspirant mistake. Okay? What you guys can do after reading current affair, optional and GS classes, you can dedicate a specific 1 hour. That's all I'm asking from all of you. 1 hour to actually revise for your prelims test. So we have 7 hours with us. We can dedicate this 7 hours for a thorough revision of the test. That's all we'll do. Now some of you will ask a very classic question. Sir, how to cover the syllabus in 7 hours? Bear with me. Bear with me for one more slide. Okay? The point is to actually, when all of you were actually asking, what about people who are neither veterans nor beginners? Srishti has asked a very paradoxical question. She is saying, I'm neither a veteran nor a beginner. Okay? Now that basically can imply, or if I'm judging correct, you are basically in your second or third year of preparation. I hope that you have actually been sincere in your preparation and you have made good notes. You have revised them enough. You have attempted multiple number of tests already. By that exercise itself, Srishti, the experience does not only come with the age, it also comes with the experiences which you have. है ना? So you are already a veteran. If you are in the second or third year of preparation and you are a serious student. Okay? I am calling you as a veteran. My respect to you. My point is, how to actually remain accountable in this journey. To all of you, first and foremost, congratulations. Now ask me why. Because till 31st of December 2025, this year, you guys are the most relaxed bunch of the people in the country. You don't have any examination this year. Imagine this year you guys cannot even fail. है ना? So basically, whether you study tomorrow or not, whether you complete your task on daily basis or not, it doesn't matter. Till 31st of December 2025. The moment this night of 31st of December basically transforms into the morning of 1st of January, you guys will start feeling the heat in the month of winter. Why? Because the examination which was next year has now arrived, and that is within the span of 4 months. Now the pressure starts increasing. Take to all of you, just a bit patient, we'll take up all the questions. Take it. My point is, now when the pressure is increasing, it actually becomes more difficult to focus on study. है ना? This is where my suggestion is to actually take up a test series. Why? Because it actually will keep you accountable. Two ways. Either you are basically tracking yourself on daily basis. Just like this is an example of one of the student who has remained consistent, thorough, and she has, just by the virtue of it, she has actually been able to make significant improvements in the last 3 and 4 months. And that's why the exercise which she is following is actually being shown to all of you as a classic example of that. What consistency can bring. Trust me, to all of the people who are the part of this session, I will be very honest when I'm saying this. It might sound a bit brutal and a bit blatant. I have seen a lot of talented people failing miserably in this examination. A lot of such people. But I have seen very few consistent people. You are talented, all the best. You are consistent, welcome. That is the idea. How to remain consistent, how to remain accountable? By tracking yourself. When the government is saying we are doing database policy making, you should also start generating data about yourself. Did you attend the GS class today? Yes. Is revision completed? Yes. Have you written answer on that? Yes. Have you solved the MCQ on that or not? Did you attended your optional classes? Did you revised it? Did you added value addition? Did you wrote any answer? For your current affair, did you read the newspaper, made notes out of it, watched the analyst, wrote some question, read magazine, let's say for example? What are the topics on the current affair which you have read on daily basis? Try to create a track on that. So towards the end of the year, you guys will have a list of all the important topics which came in the newspaper. You can actually revise them right before the prelims examination. Ultimately, the exercise of active recalling. This active recalling you guys can integrate on daily basis. You guys can do it on the weekly basis as well. Okay? By doing what? By, let's say for example, if I'm reading the whole week for a prelims test, 1 hour each, that test itself brings accountability in me. Why? Because I have to be disciplined now. I know I have to finish all of these tasks. Some of you are actually taking a breath of respite. You are saying, sir, only 7 hours we have to study. And nahi, this person is studying 7 hours after attending 5 hours of classes. Keep this in mind. Okay? So at least 10 to 11 hours of study is something which we can manage. Humanly sustainable for a long period of time, help you to actually have an edge over your competitors as well. We be disciplined, and that basically requires what? Certain sacrifices here and there. For example, if you guys have been consistent and has remained in this session for such a long period of time, the session was, again, let me tell you, the session was designed for 30 minutes. ठीक? तो थोड़ी सी मेरी गलती, थोड़ी सी आपकी. Elavarasi is asking, sir, what about college student? My simple idea to you, Elavarasi, and to all the college students is, keep this in your mind. What is your prime goal? Take. For example, if you start your journey from, let's say, Delhi, and you want to go till Kanyakumari, that is a definite route. For this definite route, you have calculated the definite amount of hours, the definite amount of petrol your vehicle will require. But if in the middle of it, you are telling me, sir, I also want to see Sachi Stupa, I want to see Ajanta caves also, hai na? Let us go and visit the site of Kiladi in Tamil Nadu. I want to visit that also. Then it is your problem. Then now the route has been extended. The requirement of petrol is more, number of hours is more for study. At the same time, the time which will be required to complete a task will be extended as well. ठीक है. Shivam is saying Adit sir has helped me with this tracking process, but when I was not able to do it, I became stressed. Those the tracking exercise itself is actually to reduce your stress. You know why in this examination we actually feel so much of a stress? Because we do not have any completion targets. ठीक है? You do not get that satisfaction of completing something because your examination is not in this month or next month. ठीक? So what is the idea? Let's say for example, if I read this much of current affairs, I know this much of topic has been done by me now. MSME is done. GST 2.0 is done. Correct? So in the future, if a question will appear on that, at least I will be able to write 2 or 3 points. है ना Shiva? Damini has a question about CSAT. We will talk about that as well. Math is a real nightmare for me. You have one more friend here, Damini. ठीक है? Shall we go to analyze answer with ChatGPT? Yes, Bhunesh, you can do that. My suggestion to all of you is, whenever you write a particular answer, do a self-analysis exercise. How that can be done? By devising a simple method, and that is whether my introduction is replicating or reflecting the kind of the method which has been adopted by the topper. Is it informative? Is it factual? है ना? Keep like kind of take care of such simple basic points. You are writing a good answer. ठीक है? Kangan is asking some articles are baseless. How to filter important articles for prelims and mains? By developing the command on the syllabus. Read only those articles which are important for exam. Like for example, I will ask a question to all of you. There is an article which is specifically talking about which are the recent areas which Russia has acquired from Ukraine. The article is talking about the history of Russia-Ukraine war. It has been written by a very prominent personality of our country. Is it important? Jyoti is asking that. Aman is saying GS3. Okay. I think there was a person who asked कि someone is giving exam in 2027. Should you make notes? Yes, absolutely. है ना? Whatever the scheme which has been launched by the government this year, they will remain at least till the year of 2029. Till then, you have already given 3 attempts. Note them down. Some people are saying yes. My question to all of you is, have you read the syllabus? The GS2 paper says the impact of developed and developing nations' policies on India's interest. The article nowhere talks about India's interest. Absolutely correct, Rishika. It has nothing to do with our country. Russia and Ukraine can fight. They can declare war on each other. They can fight as much as they want. Unless and until it comes, the article talks about what will be the impact of that war on India. The global supply chain disruptions, right? The supply chain vulnerabilities, the international relations ethics, the oil import. Absolutely correct. The things which are relevant for our country, learn about them. How we came to this conclusion, how we identified the article was important or not, by developing the command on the syllabus. As simple as that. Ayush and all of you, just 1 minute. We have reached to the end of this. Take it. My simple idea is, there is a simple principle which I want to discuss with all of you. Take it. One more. है ना? Sir, should we make notes on the reference book also? Dilshad, the examination is a writing examination. है ना? Surprise to all of you. I think this information has not been passed to all of you. UPSC is a well-oiled machinery. The examination is being conducted from the last 60-70 years. Last 60-70 years, you guys are required to write 9 to 12, 2 to 5. है ना? My question to all of you is, imagine your competitor who has written so much answers, who has developed so much of short notes. ठीक है? See, when I have to write precisely in the mains answer, if my notes are not in that format, how I will be able to replicate that in the paper? Correct? If my notes are written in this much bulky paragraphs, how I will be able to cut them down in points in mains answer? So your mains answer are nothing but the reflection of the kind of the notes which you make in your GS preparation. Keep this in mind. First thing. Second thing is, imagine your competitor who has developed a skill set where that person is able to think at a certain pace and write at the same pace. Just because of the virtue of daily answer writing and practicing answer writing. है ना? थोड़ा सा serious होना पड़ेगा. We are here to become the bureaucrat. You guys are telling me we will become the best 1,000 in the country. Then you guys are asking me, sir, iska bhi notes banana hai. Absolutely. Hello, sir. I begin my UPSC preparation in August this year. Should I consider enrolling in a test series? If you want to test yourself, if you want to test your knowledge, if you want to apply the knowledge which you have gained, yes, absolutely. The answer is absolutely yes. And that's what I'm coming to. ठीक है, थोड़ा सा patience, everyone. ठीक है, कंगन, है ना, थोड़ा सा patience. My point is, there is a particular book called as Outliers. Outliers, which has been written by Malcolm Gladwell, where he give a formula. The formula is called as formula of 5,000. ठीक है? Keep this in mind. A very important numerical which we have taken for this discussion. ठीक है? What does this 5,000 actually stands for? It stands for, ठीक है? I'm not saying this. Malcolm Gladwell has said this. That if there is a particular person who has practiced one particular exercise 5,000 times, then that person has become an expert of that activity. ठीक है? What we do for our convenience for this examination, we extrapolate this 5,000 times to 5,000 questions. Let's set for ourselves a target today. For all the people who are appearing for Prelims 2026, before entering into the examination hall on 24th of May, we will try to solve at least 5,000 questions or 50 tests. ठीक है? By solving this much of question, imagine the level of skill set which you guys will be able to develop. The same present sense of mind application which we did, the common sense application which is not so common obviously. Imagine the level of such elimination techniques which you guys would be able to devise by yourself, just by the application of knowledge and testing yourself in the real life examination condition. Yahan tak clear? My point is, imagine a person who starts in the month of October, and by the month of December, that person has given 12 such tests. Right? Every test which will be being conducted on a weekend basis. Every weekend, one test. 4 tests a month. 3 months down the line, 12 tests. That basically means that that person has already solved 1,200 questions. Out of this 5,000, that person has completed 25% task on 31st December itself. That person will have a peaceful sleep on the night of 31st of December. That person will not have anxiety in the morning of 1st of January. He is already 25% there. That is the prelims edge we are talking about. है ना? My point is that some of you will be like, sir, I am a foundational class student. I am only having 1 hour, as you said, the golden hour. So in 7 hours, how I can actually complete the syllabus? First and foremost, the completion of a syllabus before a test is the unicorn of Indus Valley civilization. The people are still searching for it. ठीक है? बहुत लोग गए, किसी को नहीं मिला. ठीक? Simple idea is, let's say, there are 7 such topics which are about to appear in the prelims examination. ठीक? What my suggestion is, in the 7 days, if I am able to even complete 4 topics, what I will do, I would be dividing the paper into 3 brackets. Now pay attention here. ठीक? The section A of the paper, section B of the paper, and section C of the paper. Now the section A of the paper consists of 30 such questions which has come directly from these 4 topics which I have been able to revise in the last 7 days. Okay? My question to all of you is, what is the level of accuracy which shall be maintained in these 30 questions? Anyone? At least 80 to 90%? Because you have read about this topic just right now, right in the recent few days. So it's all about recalling and application of it, correct? Then there might be at least 30 to 35 such questions which you have not read right before the test, but you have read it a bit before that. 2 months down the line, 1 month down the line. You have read about it somewhere in the current affair. You have made notes about it in one of your copies. This can happen in the prelims examination as well. So by that knowledge, right, which you have retained for a very long period of time, you are able to, let's say, for example, eliminate 1 or 2 statements. My idea is that in the examination, there might come such question or certain number of such question where we are required to apply this kind of technique, elimination techniques, and we can actually take the risk. That can happen in the real examination. Why not to develop that habit of risk taking from the test itself? If I'm able to eliminate certain questions, why not to take the risk and solve these questions as well? My idea is that in this particular section, I will be having probability of 50%. Then there are such 30 or 40 questions which I might not have read recently or hear about it. The obscure question, the out of the box question, where there is an element of surprise. But all the discussion which you guys had today, take it. Can we use the very basic fundamental of that and try to solve them by the application of common sense? At least 10 questions out of this. My idea is, do not judge your preparation level right now by joining a test series through your marks. Rather, you should focus upon your accuracy percentage. So let's say there was a topic which you read in the last 6-7 days. A question came on that, and now if you have done that particular question wrong, that actually reflects on the lack of conceptual clarity on that, your lack of revision on that, right? You were not able to recall certain facts and eliminate the statement. Revise those topics. Those are your weak areas. Second, such questions where we were able to eliminate 1 or 2 statements, yet we were not able to get to the answer. That tells you about your retaining capacity. That tells you that there are certain topics of which I have read about, but I have not created any chain of thought on that. Read about those topics. The third section is something or some important topics which are important. Why? Because the question has been framed on that. I have not read it till now about it. There is no problem. I will read them. I will create short notes on these topics at least. Just by doing this, by following this very simple exercise, you guys are able to revise a good amount of portion. Apply your knowledge. इतना ही करना है. ठीक है? Improving and managing the reading and syllabus completion, Nishant, as we devised today, a 11-hour strategy divided into 4 brackets. 1 hour will be your test of knowledge, your revision, your application. Okay. Next 3 brackets, 10 hours, were equally divided, 4-4-2. 4 hours for your GS, 4 hours for your optional, 2 hours for your current affairs, and that's it. Okay. This is a kind of a template which is being followed by the students which I showed you. This is the same template which is being followed by Pinakin, and she can actually testify that it has been working good for her. Okay. Anyone? Any other questions? Which class of NCERT book I have to study? 11th and 12th majorly. But if you are following, let's say for example, finding it a bit difficult to even understand the basic concepts of latitudes and longitudes, then start with as far back as class 6th. Yes, Vedant had a very important question on CSAT. Okay. Try to understand this. A simple idea here about CSAT. Okay. When I want to, let's say for example, qualify the CSAT, it's a qualifying exam. 66 marks are required. Okay. Right now, we are already focusing quite a lot, let's say for example, on our GS revision, essay revision, ethics revision. We are practicing answer writing. We are also solving the prelims question, joining a test series, solving questions for that. My idea to all of you is that by the time the 1st of January will come in, certain things related to mains examination will take a backseat. है ना? Essay will take a backseat. Your optional will take a bit backseat. Take it. So at that point of time, you will have certain times to actually take the mocks for CSAT. But should we start from now? That question shall be decided by you by self-analysis exercise. So for that purpose, take 2 years CSAT paper, sit for 2 hours each, try to solve them. If you are getting into the range which is very closer to the cutoff, let's say for example between 55 to 75, it is very well and good for you. You can even start from the month of December and January onwards. If you are in the range which is, let's say for example, 10 to 15 marks below the cutoff, then CSAT can actually become an impediment in your journey. Start from, let's say for example, every week at least dedicate 1 or 2 hours for your CSAT preparation. Okay. This class will be uploaded on YouTube for sure. How to reduce negative marks but still attempt more number of questions. This is something which I think I have been trying to make all of you understand. Okay. It's very simple. when we talk about our accuracy, nobody actually gets all the questions correct in the prelims examination. You can actually look at the cutoff of the toppers as well, top 10 ranker this year. Okay. Suggestion is the first section, which has come from the basic NCERTs, your reference book, and the basic current affair. This 25 to 30 questions are the low-hanging fruits. Take care of them, they will take care of you. If you are actually scoring a lot of negative marks here, that basically showcases that you have less control on the foundational subjects, right? You have less command on them. Your revision is not good. You do not have conceptual clarity. If someone has done the geography question wrong this year, the isotherm question wrong this year, it is basically the reflection that person has not revised the basic NCERT. As simple as that. Okay. Second is the second section, which is basically being solved not only with the use of knowledge, but also with the use of, for example, the various skill set of solving the question, your common sense application. In this particular section of 25 to 30 question, it is obvious that your probability will be a bit low. Let's say only 60%. Ultimately, those questions which are out of the box, which you have not read about, the topics which are basically a bit obscure, it is very obvious that your probability will come down to 30%. The problem is that the students keep on focusing about this question, this section quite a lot, right? This is something which cannot be controlled. As it is said by the greatest captain our Indian cricket team ever had, MS Dhoni, control the controllables. Do not worry about these kind of factual, obscure questions, difficult in nature. Don't worry about them. Take care of this. If your accuracy is good in this section, you are able to get 50-60 marks very easily. Rest 40, you guys are required to score in 140. The paper is easier for you now. Take it. What about those who are giving MSP at Wajiram currently? We have to complete a subject in a week. Absolutely correct. I think I am not able to pronounce your name. Shivraj. Take it. The idea is absolutely correct, Shivraj. My suggestion to you is, till December, we cannot sleep on our prelims preparation. है ना? The suggestion is that at least 2 days of a week shall be dedicated for the prelims preparation. Take. You are saying that I have got 5 days of time. Still, I am unable to revise the MSP portion. Take it. My simple idea to all of you is, आज एक exercise करना. Take up any subject of your choice. Take up a book. Set up a target to yourself, and that is, I will read 100 pages of this book tonight before sleeping, because tomorrow from this 100 pages, prelims questions will be asked. All 100 questions of prelims tomorrow. ठीक है? Try करके देखो. All of you will be able to finish that 100 questions. Why? Because you have a short-term target to achieve. That is 100 questions tomorrow. You have a guarantee. I give 300-page book to you. I say you have 1 year. You will read 3 pages tomorrow. You will get tired. है ना? The best part is nobody of you yawned today in today's session. Thank you. Sir, my Wajiram in-house test series is starting from October 26th. Any specific strategy for it, Ruchika? You can actually meet your mentors, Ruchika. They will guide you. From where I get notes about all the articles and act. I think there is a list which has been uploaded on the Wajiram's website. Look at that. Should the weekly test be sectional or full length? Again, this is a very important question. Idea is we will give at least 3 revisions. So a lot of toppers I have discussed, and they very commonly and in unison talk about this 3 revision exercise. What is this 3 revision exercise? 1 revision we will do of the subject with our sectional test. Okay? So we will revise all the subjects in one go with sectional test. 1 revision of those subjects will be completed along with the full length test. Okay? When we are giving both of these, we are integrating the current affair in that, obviously, because current affair will take place on daily basis. Okay? Ultimately, the 3rd revision is something which we'll do before the examination. By this time, my expectation from all of you is that through this 2 revision exercise, you already have created a lot of short notes. है ना? Those sectional notes which we discuss about, right? The Wajiram recall sheet. So all of that will actually help you to, in your 3rd revision, keep this in mind. One very important idea I want to give you. Sectional test, you are revising for it, it will take a bit of time. I know. But if you have revised something and you come to revise the same topic for full length test, now the revision period shall decline. That is the idea. Ultimately, for your third revision, the revision time which you guys are taking, that shall decline more. Okay? Shivam is saying how to read NCERT when we have already read it, and you can guide along with newspaper, analyst, video, and recital. See, first and foremost, I think I made it very clear. Newspaper is indispensable. Substantiation of that can be one source. Some people are writing here 5 sources. Shivam, we do not have to become news reporter. Okay, at least not yet. One newspaper, one substantiation. Okay, that substantiation can be of your choice. Okay. One good question which you ask, that is how to revise the NCERTs. This is, let's say, the page number 70 of your any random NCERT. What we devised today, the best 5 strategy. What is that? 5 points, factual points which can become a statement in my prelims examination. Extract them, revise them. Okay? Create such thing. Let's say, for example, NCERT is of 100 pages, 500 important points. Read them, revise them. Okay? Any page which you are reading from now onwards, irrespective of the subject, irrespective of the book, be objective in your approach. What are those 5 or 6 important points which can be asked in prelims examination? I will extract them, write them as precisely as possible, revise them multiple number of times. This shall be clear. Similarly, for mains, if I have certain ready-made intro, conclusions, and such important arguments and example, extract them. Okay? Marathon classes of any subject is useful or not? See, the point is not about the marathon classes, but it is also about the quality. Okay? So I do not know about the marathon classes which other people take. The idea is if someone has taken marathon, tell them to upload the questions which actually was reflected from that marathon. Everybody does marathon, nobody posts the questions which came from that. Okay? What is Wajiram recall sheet? It is basically a kind of a short notes which are created from the institution itself by the subject matter experts to provide you specific detail which you can actually revise right before the prelims examination. Okay? We will also take certain questions from the people who are from YouTube. है ना? Sir, if command on prelims PYQ is not there, how much test can help? Dost, the questions which appeared in the PYQs, right? They were framed on the news which was relevant at that point of time. There is a particular team of experts who are actually creating those questions, right? So there is, let's say, for example, a specific team. Okay? In our Wajiram, we call it raw. The point is, let's say, for example, what this team is doing, it is reading the newspaper on behalf of you, extracting a lot of important themes which can appear in next year prelims examination, and they are creating questions on that to actually help you to solve those questions, develop objectivity. है ना? Themes extraction can be done from PYQs. To actually solve the questions on the relevant themes of this year, take up the help of a test series. Okay? Sir, I have completed my foundation. Should I start making short notes for mains after studying every topic? Absolutely. When someone is making a notes from the mains perspective, ready-made intro, ready-made conclusion, 5 and 6 important points on each and every dimension. Okay? Pavan Kumar is saying, can you share the PDF of session? Yes, that will be shared. Sir, we have not read NCERT till now. How to cover it quickly? So basically the crime has been committed. Okay. What we can do? Whatever the topic you are reading from now onwards, whether you are reading it from your class notes or from any reference book, integrate your NCERTs topic wise. Why we have to do everything like in a different way, right? At a different places. Do cover the topic entirely from every source. Sir, I have exams in December and January. I cannot study. I was not able to read your question. Okay. Some subject, can we use chat GPT for prep? If it is being used in a strategic manner, yes, absolutely. Some subject I am unable to understand, such as macroeconomics. So can I see marathon class is useful or not? See, Shobha, I do not understand which marathon specific classes you are talking about. Okay. You can take the help of the GS foundation classes of Wajiram. You can take the help of the various, let's say, for example, the magazines which are being provided to you. Okay. I don't understand this concept of marathon classes you are talking about. If you can tell me in a bit detail about it. Okay. Someone asked me that, let's say, if there is a topic which has been covered in the class, can I give it a test on that on the very same day? Not a test, a PYQ on that day itself. Okay. The test will be conducted in the span of a weekly basis, so you will be able to revise one particular subject on weekly basis as well. ठीक है? Sir, what is the sequence of subject for revision? See, my idea to all of you, specifically the person, a very beautiful name he has. Okay? The name is Chasing the Dream of UPSC. Okay? So, Chasing the Dream of UPSC, if you are listening to me right now, my suggestion to you is that start with those subjects which are on your weaker side. Okay? So, there is a kind of a saying which is called as eat the frog first. Hai na? So, there are certain subjects which are troubling you. Do that subject right now because you have comfort of time right now. So even if those subjects which are a bit difficult for you, they require a bit of more time, will be able to solve them easily. Okay? The subjects which are of your interest, let's say polity and history, then you are able to do them towards the examination as well in an expeditious manner. Jyotsna is asking, how do we make the notes for the current affair? Again, that will require me for a lot of time. I think we devised a strategy today to make the notes, right? How to extract the important points, bullet points for mains and prelims. Okay? Sir, my optional is about to end, but I had not done answer writing. You can start from even today, Bhuvnesh. Okay? If anybody is asking me from when to solve the prelims question and when to solve the mains answer writing, right now it is 7:50. Start from 8 o'clock. Okay? Extra than classes, how to manage? Kangan, which exam you have in the month of December and January, if I can know about it? The college examination. Again, Kangan, I talked about it. If you have decided to go to Kanyakumari, but in between you want to visit Ajanta as well, and a UNESCO World Heritage Site, then obviously it will take a bit of more time for you. Okay? So you are saying, sir, I want to go to both places and at the same time as well. We have not developed time travel till now. Thoda sa samjho. What is the correct approach to analyze the PYQ? एक simple approach है which we can take. ठीक है? Try to understand this. Let's say this year, right now, today, we discuss about a concept. The concept was, let's say, Mines and Minerals Act of 1957. ठीक है? They ask about a question on this particular act in the year of 2019. Why? Because there was an amendment which took place that year. Then they ask another question in the year of 2024. Why? Because there was an amendment of the act which took place in 2023. Now the classic mistake which is done by a UPSC aspirant, they will start reading this particular act again and again. They will be like, oh, this act is very important. No. First and foremost, why UPSC is asking about this act? Because in GS2 paper, they have told you to read about government policies and intervention. So if there is any such act which has been in the news, which has been amended recently by the government or enacted by the government, you should know about it. As simple as that. If there is a new scheme which has been launched by the government in the current preparation cycle, you should know about it. Hai na? There is a very recent agriculture scheme which the government launched. Can anybody tell me? In the budget 2025. It was very recently in the news as well. Take anybody? Absolutely correct. Dhan Dhan Yojana. Okay. So the idea is read about the government policies which are repeatedly in the news. What they have asked about this particular act in both years, that give you the idea, the kind of question they will frame. Okay. Bhuvnesh is saying, sir, from where I purchased my shirt. Okay. I will tell you in Bhuvnesh, get selection to the examination, come meet me personally. Okay. Usse pehle aana mat. Pragya is saying it will be uploaded on YouTube. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Anybody, any other question? How to manage class note revision along with daily task? Shivam, that is exactly what we discuss. Okay. In the today's discussion, where we talked very specifically about to divide your day into the blocks method on a weekly basis or on daily basis. You can divide it on hourly basis. Itna karna hai. Okay. 4 hours for GS, 4 hours for optional, 2 hours for current affair, 1 hour specifically for the prelims test which you guys are going to join. That's all. Okay. There are a lot of questions which are being asked on the recall sheet. Now, I will take 1 minute to explain about it. My point is, let's say this is the explanation of a particular question. Okay? And this question has been created on whether what are the unitary features of our country and what are the federal features of our country as per the constitution. Yahan tak clear. My question to you is, let's say for example, these are 8 to 9 important points written in so much of the lines, and I have read about it, I have understood about it. Either I could have made the short notes by myself, right? But we know how lazy you are, which is also visible as well. Take it. Sai Veena has asked a very good question. Take it. The point is, take, even if I would have, है ना, I would have been telling you all the strategies, take it, just like how I did today. है ना? My point is 8-9 important points. Either I can note it down by my own, or if I cannot do it, what Wajiram has done, they have basically extracted these bullet points, which are very important for your prelims revision, written in a very precise manner so that you guys can actually recall them, read them right before the prelims examination. So the idea is to convert this 60 pages into 4 pages. Now let's say if you give 30 tests here at Wajiram, those 30 tests can be revised in the span of 100 to 150 page right before the prelims examination. Imagine you give 1 or 2 days, you can end up revising 30 tests. That is the idea which you are working upon right now. Take it. Utkarsh is saying, I have not done till the current affair, those the train has gone too far. है ना? Why you did not reach to the station? If you have not done, take it, till now, at least my suggestion would be that start with either watching analyst or read the magazines. Take it, because you will start reading the current affair from right now. The newspapers will take you a lot of time to develop the understanding itself. Manu Singh is asking when to start optional preparation. If you have not started yet and you are going to appear for 2027, I hope, then your idea shall be that complete your optional before next year mains examination, attempt next year mains examination optional paper. Take it. When to finish optional preparation? Right before the mains examination of 2026, whether you are giving the attempt or not, so that you guys can attempt the mains paper next year. Take it. Where are the PDFs uploaded? It will be uploaded, I think, on the YouTube, है ना? YouTube पे as a link, it will be uploaded for all of you. ठीक है? Sai, those are the mistakes. Exactly. See, whatever I am sharing right now today, the idea is not only about the things which actually work, it's also contains a lot of information what did not work. Keep this in mind. है ना? Sir, where we can get that daily tracking sheet? The daily tracking sheet was an example shown to you, Aman. It has been made by one of the students. You can actually take the screenshot and create like that. Okay? When will the prelims test series for GS batch students start? I think on YouTube there is a live link which has been uploaded. So you guys can go there and register for the prelims test series. Take it and do it as soon as possible. Someone is saying that I am only attending the classes so far. Pooja, if you are not applying your knowledge, है ना? मुझे एक बात बताओ, you are learning so much, you are not able to solve the questions here, or you are not, let's say for example, testing yourself, then what is the point of studying at all? Based on my syllabus analysis, I have completed approximately 25%. Given the progress, I am concerned about my ability to take the upcoming test without having fully studied the material. That's what we discussed, Jyotsna, right now. I am not worried about your marks here. Please keep this in mind. I will give you one example. There was one of my students last year. Okay? She came to me. है ना? She had already qualified the CA examination. She had already achieved what she always wanted to become since the childhood. Okay? She said that, let's say for example, she wanted to become a CA since childhood. Now that dream has achieved. So she has lost the enthusiasm to what to do next in her life. She was like, let me prepare for UPSC. Okay? She said that because of the virtue of clearing the examination of CA, she already has a very lucrative job, which she is now leaving for UPSC preparation. So at the same point of time, she did not have the luxury to give multiple attempts. She asked me exactly this question, which I'm telling you, that, sir, I have 6 months. Tell me exactly what to do, what not to do, right? I will follow that. I have only 6 months of time. Because she did not have the luxury of time, she did not wasted any of it. Kept her resources very limited. What was suggested to you? Applied her knowledge in the form of test, kept on testing herself. The more number of tests she gave, the more skill sets she developed to actually solve the questions. Her marks did not very significantly improve in the span of 6 months, but indeed, it was very much capable to actually clear her prelims. She gave prelims, wrote mains, cleared the interview, got rank, I think, approximately between 450 to 500, and she's into the services right now. Seems like a very idle journey, but the point is she was very pinpoint in her approach, did not took any wrong turn or wrong step. That is why this session is being created in the first place. If we are sitting in the comfort of our room and we are revising, and if we are unable to apply that knowledge and solve a question, what is the purpose and point of it? है ना? Also, I think we have taken most of the question. Okay. If some of you have very specific questions related to, let's say, for example, your preparation, you can actually join us. One suggestion which I want to give to all of you is use this comment section very strategically. If you guys have any specific doubts related to prelims preparation, this is the initiative which has been taken by Vajira, again being the game changer in the market, where we are trying to provide you hand holding till the prelims examination. That is the idea. So use the comment box to kind of comment all the specific doubts which you guys have related to prelims preparation. Not like, okay, theek hai, I have, let's say, for example, I'm not able to study, sir, what to do? Aisa nahi. On the specific topics related to prelims, whatever the doubts you have, comment down your particular concerns there. If you guys want any specific sessions which we shall take on specific topics, like for example, let's say elimination technique, we will take that. Comment that, right? We'll consider them, okay? And we'll create sessions for you, okay? I hope that is clear. Aman is asking, sir, what are the prices for this? Aman, at least till now in my capacity, I'm not acting as a salesman. Okay? I have ensured that as well. Sir, if I complete one chapter today, can I ask ChatGPT for pre-year question and do practice? Yes, absolutely, Sai. You had to ask me. I think you really need ChatGPT. Sir, any 6-month strategy? See Kangana or Kangan. Okay? My simple idea to all of you is, if we create a 6-month strategy, you will not even follow it for 6 days. That's why if you see, we created weekly strategies. My idea to all of you is follow it on weekly basis. Okay? All of you here, follow this weekly basis exercise. See whether it is working for you or not. If it is working for you, well and good. Stay with it. If it is not working for you, then we'll try to bring certain amendments to it when we'll create the next session. Okay? Yes, absolutely. There will be a session for quick revision. We'll take it. Okay? Mitali, that was the whole session about how can a beginner structure the preparation dost. है ना? How to identify the factual statement that could be asked in pre while reading the materials. That is exactly, that's what we discussed when we were discussing a particular paragraph from the NCERT. Okay? Sir, guesswork skill session will be needed. Yes, absolutely, Ruchika will create that specifically before the prelims examination, but not right now. Focus on your studies. Okay? Kangan, the hum saath saath hai method is a method which we have created to solve certain questions if we do not know about it. We will not apply them everywhere. This is something which I want all of you to know. Okay? So I think, guys, we'll have to call it a day. Okay? All the questions which you guys have, please comment them. Okay? On YouTube. Okay? To all the people on YouTube, thank you for joining us today. We'll keep on coming with such sessions till your prelims examination. So I hope to see you there. Okay? Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining me. The people of YouTube, the people live here. Take care. I just hope that you guys start preparing for your prelims examination very sincerely. It was a kind of a heads-up session as well. Okay? So we try to establish the prelims is very much predictable, very much in your reach. Try to apply the knowledge which you have gained. Try to solve as many questions as possible. We will keep on coming with your, kind of a frequent sessions, hand-holding sessions. We will discuss on specific topics, the concerns of the students related to prelims examination. The idea is that we are going to keep holding your hand till the prelims examination. We are together in this journey. Take it. On that note, thank you. Thank you all of you for joining this session. All the very best for your prelims examination. And before we leave, Jai Hind. Take care. Chalo. All the best. Thank you.